What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Wrestle Purist podcast. I'm joined today by Backup Hangman, who many of you are already familiar with. I'm also joined by Rob, who you are also familiar with, and we have a new face on the channel, Anna Demarco.
Hi.
And today we're going to kind of just jump into a little bit of news, nothing too spectacular, and we're going to do a AEW Dynamite review. So I'll go around, see how everyone is, to be polite, because apparently that's what you do on these things. And and yeah, we'll get into it. So I'll start with you, Rob. How you doing today, bro?
Oh, I'm all right. Just have been running around crazy today. It's my dad's birthday, but I've been all right.
Happy birthday to your father.
Happy birthday.
I let him know.
Yeah, happy birthday to the big man. And yeah, it will go to you next before we get to our special guest. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's been a really busy day for me. It's kind of why we started a bit late, because obviously these things start on my turn, of course, and it's been a bit of an eventful one. I was able to catch all of Dynamite, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of my thoughts there. It wouldn't be a day in the life of Backup Hangman if I wasn't fighting with 72 people on Twitter. So that was fun. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see our new guest in here. I think she's going to do great. And I'm looking forward to this podcast.
And yeah, Hollywood, I'll let you do the introductions for our special guest, Anna. And yeah, man, I'll leave it to you.
Okay. Well, guys, we have a guest today. She's in my corner bottom left. Anna Demarco. It's her first time on the backup. Sorry, the backup. I was going to say the backup. Sorry. No, it's her first appearance on the Wrestle Purist podcast. Anna is a big time wrestling fan. She knows her stuff. We're going to get into all the stuff, but yeah, man, Anna, it's good to see you, and I'm happy that you joined us today. What's up?
It's really a pleasure being here, guys. I'm really excited. I've been ready for the past 3 hours waiting for Hangman, but it's so great.
Yeah, it happens. It's
really excited being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. The three of them were waiting backstage, just kind of running through the catering food while I've been like watching Dynamite in like 4 times the amount of time to watch it. So that's been fun. Anna, I guess to just introduce yourself to everybody, we did this with Isra on her debut also. I just want to ask out of curiosity, when did you get into wrestling and what got you into pro wrestling?
Right.
Oh, it's a really weird story because I started watching wrestling because this girl that sat in front of me in class, she was watching the Shield's debut on her phone in the middle of the class. And I sort of started watching it and I started wondering, like, what the hell was that? Who were those guys? What was happening? Why they just get into and start beating people up? I had no idea what was going on. So I just started asked her, and she started showing me this random matches on the WWE YouTube channel. So I just started watching it from there. And I think it was around 2013, something like that.
Yeah. The Shield debut, that was like the end of 2012. So you were just watching WWE from that point. Wow.
In the middle of class, just on my phone.
And I know, Anna, that you're very well versed in just wrestling around the world. I see you talking about, like, you made mention of Kazusada Higuchi's winning the King of DDT tournament against Naomi Yoshimura a few weeks ago. And I know you're very well versed in Joshi wrestling. So kind of when did that kind of come into the picture, watching wrestling just from, other avenues?
It's actually, I think around 2015, a random match, CCW match, I think was Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Johnny Gargano, popped up on my recommendations on YouTube because I was watching a bunch of WWE stuff. Yeah. So I found out about independent wrestling because of that match. And I started going from there. Yeah, I watched that match and I started watching old Ring of Honor matches, CCW matches, all of those indie matches. And I got into New Japan and Joshi, all that I think was 2017 when there was this when Kenny Omega and the other elite members went there. Yeah, I started watching there. And actually Joshi, I started getting into it because I started a podcast about women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
wait. Why don't you plug it on this thing then?
Yeah, just go ahead and plug it.
What's your show? What's your show, Anna? Let the people know.
It's in Portuguese because I'm Brazilian. If
It doesn't
Brazilian
matter.
is
Plug it
my
anyway,
accent.
and I want everybody
It's
listening to watch every single second of her podcast, even though it's not in English. Go ahead.
Oh god.
It's called Elas Que Lutem Podcast. It's about
Yeah.
women's wrestling, the world of women's wrestling. And
Yeah.
I started watching Joshi because of it, because my friend that hosts the podcast with me, he's a big Joshi fan. So he just sort of got me into it, especially because women's wrestling in America right now is not it. So I just really got
You should. I definitely want to get more into that with you a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah,
what's
definitely.
Oh my God.
You know what's the thing
I
about-
have thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, and you know what the thing about it is, I feel like the last decade, the 2010s, especially around the middle of it, it was the perfect time to kind of branch out and get into the non-WWE wrestling because number one, a lot of the top indie stars in the business were kind of going into WWE, and so when you watch them, it's almost like you wanted to know more about their origins, and because so many of them were the makeup of like NXT, for example, right? It's like like Johnny Gargano or Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, these guys, a lot of these guys were kind of the foundations of a lot of the big indie promotions that existed. And so it was easy to just kind of like trace back roots for these guys. And then the other thing is like, I think if you were a fan of NXT, right, it was almost like you wanted to know who was coming in next. And so to get excited for those guys, you almost would watch them ahead of time by checking out, New Japan Pro Wrestling or PWG or Ring of Honor. And I know for me personally, it was part of the reason why I kept an eye on all those promotions, just to kind of know like who was going to be that guy sitting ringside at a takeover, or what have you. And then that combined with Kenny Omega and the Okada match, which just blew the doors open to New Japan expanding in the United States. Yeah. It made it so that if you were like a hardcore wrestling fan, you were going to be plugged in on all that stuff like in a snap, more so than like any other period, So it's interesting to hear. Yeah,
that's really great. The NXT Black and Gold era was when I think I really got into wrestling. I watched every single show from every single promotion.
Exactly.
I was just so into it. It was amazing. It's a great era.
We've got a lot of love for Anna in the chat.
Really? Already? Wow.
Already.
Some of it's in Portuguese, so if it's offensive, apologies.
That's dope. That's dope.
Vasco Demarco. I don't know what that means.
Vasco is a football team here in Brazil.
Gotcha. Yo, look at Monty. Look at
Chris is only here for Anna, apparently. He's supposed to be part of the team, but
Oh god.
I was gonna say, look at Anna bringing the international.
We got more. Hashtag Anna Purist.
Anna Purist. Yo, isn't there a way to add a hashtag underneath like
Anna's the best purist.
Yeah.
Anna.
Jesus Christ.
Brazilians are very excited people.
Yeah.
Please, Anna, come to Brazil.
Yo, honestly, Monty, I think our women's division is saving the channel because if you remember when Isra came, it was like treated like a social event. You know what I mean? When normally we do our pods and it's like I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna talk wrestling, and people are like, yeah, okay. And then like it's like Anna Demarco's here, and it's like you have like a whole like crowd outside, and it's great.
Yeah. She's
We're
a
going to the Brazilian territory right now.
I appreciate
Brazilian
it.
fans.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. Monty, let's get into the news, man. What's going on in the world of wrestling, bro?
So the first thing I'll bring up is just kind of a little snippet from Dave Meltzer's on the Wrestling Observer radio earlier. He mentioned basically Kenny Omega is hoping to target All Out for his return. But apparently he's trying to stay, pretty quiet about it in regards to like actual details around it. Then this was more speculative, but Dave also thinks that that's probably the target for CM Punk and Bryan Danielson as well. And obviously, if we go back to the report earlier in this week from Sean Rossap on Fightful Select, he did, report that Kenny Omega is nearing a return, and he did mention that there is tentative plans for an all-out match involving the Young Bucks somewhere. So, yeah, man, it is looking like Kenny Omega's return is getting closer and closer, and it does seem like All Out is probably the most likely, destination for it. So, yeah, man, exciting times, to be honest. He's been out for so long. It's kind of weird at the moment with all the injuries and stuff to see where he'll actually fit in immediately when he comes back. So yeah, I'll just go around and kind of get your ideas of where you guys think he'll fit in when he comes back. Of course, he'll fit in a prominent position. Obviously, it's Kenny Omega, but where exactly do you see him, and who do you see him slotting in with when he comes back? I'll start with you, Hollywood.
No, let's go with Rob. I actually want to hear what Rob thinks about just the reacclimation.
That's in the batter.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass it over to Rob. I want to see what he thinks about just the reacclimation of Kenny.
I earlier before I had to leave my house, I was watching Kenny versus Tanahashi from when it was like right after Nakamura left and they had the crown of new Intercontinental Champion. And I was looking at him healthy, because I think this is around the time he was still healthy. And I'm just looking at him, and then I'm looking at what he was doing when he was unhealthy. And let's just say if he comes back at around All Out, if he is 100% healthy, the company, the industry, I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready right now. I don't know. Because, man, it's just I had said at first before they lost the belts to Swerve in Our Glory last week, I thought that I thought that Adam Cole and them were going to play a role in the Bucks losing the tag belts to FTR. But now that that's not happening, and they're saying that the Young Bucks are slated for a major push and a major program, I think that it's obviously going to be with Hangman, and it's obviously going to be with Hangman, the Bucks, and Kenny versus the Undisputed Era. Now, I know it's not going to be all four of them because Roddy's still locked up, but
Free him up, man.
Yeah,
free him up.
Free Roddy. But I'm very excited to see how this goes when he comes back. Very excited.
Okay, Monty, do you want me to approach this logically or toxically? I can do either or.
Whatever pops you more.
Okay, so Kenny Omega is pretty much objectively, at worst, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, pretty much. Especially, certainly, of his generation. He's one of the most important people to the business today in terms of where wrestling has gone in the last 5 years or so. He's a sensational wrestler. Even when he was severely injured, like Rob said, this guy was still absolutely terrific. Right. The Hangman Page storyline with Kenny was just amazing for the most part. Kenny Omega's great. He's a welcome addition to return to AEW. Him coming back is incredible news. It's something that's only going to strengthen the product and make it more interesting, and perhaps even move the needle, so to speak. Because I think a lot of people who came to AEW at the beginning, it's because they're fans of the Elite, and so I think there's some certain Elite-centric AEW fans that are maybe not quite as into the show right now because their faves aren't really there anymore. So I think Kenny adds to that. Now, with all that said, and with all that out the way, when I think Kenny Omega back in AEW, and when I think CM Punk coming back to AEW, and I think Bryan Danielson coming back to AEW, I'm thinking about the big matches, I'm thinking about the big money, I'm thinking about the stadiums, right? And so to me, I think Kenny Omega, and obviously the natural inclination is to, inch towards a Elite versus Undisputed Era feud, obviously, and all the things you can do with that. And something along those lines makes sense if you're going to veer off from FTR and Young Bucks right now, which seems to be the plan. To me, it's like the big money match you really want to do the second you're able to do it is CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. And all I have to say about that match, Monty, is you are either an Omega-crat or you are a Republican. You are either part of. You are either part of.
Don't bring your Twitter world bullshit to this wholesome platform I've tried to build here.
You are either part of the woke elite mob, or you are part of a crew of men, real men, trying to make wrestling great again.
Oh my
Once
God,
again,
bro! What is
you're getting booed by Israel?
Thank God! Israel, boo him louder.
You are either part of the movement or the problem, and so I think there's no way to properly enjoy both wrestlers. You must either think one of them is way better than the other, or you just don't understand anything about anything. And so I implore everybody, she's still going. I implore
Thank
everybody
God.
to passionately take one side and vehemently argue on behalf of your favorite wrestler. Who should be Punk? And so again, big money, big main event. That's the match you really want to see. That's the match I want to see. It's the match that's going to cause a civil war amongst the wrestling fans. And it's going to be so toxic and so ugly and so vile and so annoying. And I'm so ready for it. I'm just so excited for all the discourse, hashtag discourse that can come from Punk and Omega. I'm so happy. I'm looking forward to all the. Now other people are booing.
Getting the shit beat at you, bro.
They're beating the shit out of me. I'm telling you, Anna, Israel, our women's division, they dictate the pace here. Nobody would have booed me or throw tomatoes unless she did. It's crazy. I'm spitting right now. I'm honestly spitting. Bottom line, everybody.
Tomatoes all over the place.
Bottom line, everybody. CM Punk, my favorite wrestler. Bryan Danielson, my favorite wrestler to watch wrestle. Kenny Omega, superstar. They're all very needed. I'm looking forward to all their returns. I really hope they all are able to make the September pay-per-view. They better be at Arthur Ashe because I just bought tickets. So I'm happy that they're all coming back. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the discourse, and I'm ready. As a proud Republican, this is great news, and I'm just looking forward to all this. Thank you.
Yeah, well, enough of the toxic discourse that Hangman's clearly looking forward to. I'll move it to someone a bit more wholesome. Anna, what are your thoughts on Kenny Omega's return? Where do you see him fitting in? How excited are you, etc., etc.? And of course, I have a few notes on Danielson and Punk as well.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank Israel for booing. Just absolutely right. Thank you.
Yeah, let's go.
Boo. Tomatoes.
Boo,
I'm not gonna talk about the whole Punk Republicans and
just ignore him. Just ignore him.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about Kenny's return. It caught me by surprise because I think last month he was talking about how he didn't know if he would ever wrestle again. So it was really unexpected for me to see him coming back so soon. And I'm really excited for it. It just got me a little bit confused because I felt like the storyline was going towards Hangman and the Bucks going for the trios titles. And now Kenny's coming back, so I don't know how the dynamic's going to work. And Punk, I was expecting him from All Out for me, like Mox versus Punk at All Out, just the biggest main thing they can have. I think it's going to be really good. And I just miss Bryan so much. He's one of my favorites of all time. And we don't know when he's going to be back. He's going to be back in All Out too? Is that it?
Maybe. But like I said, Dave was kind of speculating about it.
Yeah, and I would love I would love an elite, undisputed elite versus undisputed era versus the elite storyline. But I really wish that the finals of the trios tournament would be the Blackpool Combat Club versus the elite. I think would be a better match, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see Kenny being back because I think that Adam Cole got so lost because they made his whole thing about the tension with Kenny, and then Kenny just had to leave. So Adam Cole just got really lost. So I'm excited to see. Yeah.
That's the thing. I didn't think about this, right? But so in my personal opinion, my favorite part of Adam Cole's AEW run was like the beginning when he was kind of mingling with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and I got a bit less interested personally when it was more about like the Undisputed guys and the Hangman storyline with him. I just kind of personally was less engaged with it. And I didn't even think I didn't put two and two together, Monty, that the demarcation between the stuff that I was enjoying and when it kind of fell off for me personally is Kenny's absence. Kenny Omega went away right around the same time that things shifted. And the bottom line is, clearly a lot of what they were trying to do with the story had to be kind of postponed and delayed because of the people that weren't available. So, I mean, even recently, there's been so many random injuries to people like Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly that's affected some storytelling in that end. Just between both the tag teams have their problem. They haven't even gotten to have a direct tag match, the Bucks and Undisputed, unless I'm forgetting it. I don't think they've wrestled directly, not counting like the three-way. So, yeah, looking forward to that. What my question is to you guys? If Bryan Danielson can make All Out, who do you think he should wrestle? And what match do you think he should be a part of?
I have no idea, to be honest. It's like someone asked earlier, like all out card predictions, and it's like I have no idea because like the three people we've just been talking about might be back, they might not be back. So that's basically like half your card. It's I don't know, man. Like Danielson, same with I said it about Omega earlier in the week as well when the news was first like coming out about him potentially coming back soon. It's like you can kind of just plug him in pretty much anywhere. Like Punk is obviously spoken for. But Kenny Omega, you can do something with you can do something with the Elite, you can do something with Hangman, you can do something with both. You could I don't know how legit this Will Ospreay stuff is. Obviously he's in another company, but they seem to potentially maybe be building to something. Even though Ospreay insists that it's a legit thing. It just seems a bit performative, don't you think?
Wait, what seems performative?
Like the whole lot Ospreay Kenny Omega stuff.
I think it was nicely subtle at the beginning, when it was just kind of like Kenny in a very realistic way giving his opinions on Ospreay as a performer and stuff like that. I thought that was actually pretty like subtle and I think it was done in a way where like you could just be like, yeah, that's probably just his opinion, or it could be building a match. You're not fully sure. And I think that the realm you want to be in is the I'm not really sure if this is a work or shoot type of deal. Sometimes wrestling, when you try to, it gets a little hokey when like you're almost trying too hard to do a work shoot on social media. We've seen it time and time again when indie wrestlers try to kind of shoot their own angle on Twitter because they don't have any other platform, and it gets a little cringe sometimes. And I think we kind of, it got a little, I won't say performative, but just maybe a bit hokey with Ospreay, kind of like with the shirt that he recently came out with about Kenny, and then like the one-winged angel at the show. Like, I mean, yeah, it's cute, but it's also like a little cheesy. Because now it's like obviously you're working an angle, which I mean that's fine, that we know obviously, but now it's like obviously you're working an angle. I gotta say, even though Ospreay is a sensational wrestler and so is Kenny, that's not even one of my top like 3 matches right now that I want to see from Kenny when he comes back. Actually, like I'm more looking forward to seeing what he has to do with where he stands as a character with the Young Bucks and with Hangman, and maybe potentially wrestling Bryan Danielson again, maybe working with some of the guys that he hasn't gotten a chance to work with. Obviously the CM Punk thing, like the Ospreay thing is fine, and they're gonna get to it when they get to it. But that's not even like, to me in the priority list, it's not even like top 3 personally. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I
Cancel it.
just got one thing to say.
What's
that Ospreay shirt is so ugly.
So like, I like Ospreay, I think most people here like Ospreay, but it's just
I like him, but that T-shirt
it's a bad shirt.
No,
It's a bad shirt.
It's a bad, like Paul George. It's a bad shirt, bro. It's a bad shirt. But nah, man, I actually I want to see Kenny versus Will. I just don't think we should see it as soon as Kenny comes back. Like save it for like a crossover show, or like save it for not for
Wrestle
Forbidden Door
Kingdom
next year. Yeah, like Wrestle Kingdom or some shit like that. Just save it for that.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be a great Tokyo Dome main event or co-main for sure. 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What else?
You could do Danielson, Zack Sabre on that show too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Danielson Sabre Jr. is one, but if we're talking about a match, I think we should see from Danielson and All Out. I've been sitting here ever since Monty asked the question. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't really think of one.
What I will say though, the more that I'm talking about this, the more I realize that if Tokyo Dome is going to be a 2-3 night event again, one of those nights definitely has to be like pretty much like a somewhat of a Forbidden Door part 2, in my opinion, because it's like we didn't get to see CM Punk and Tanahashi. You can do it there. Danielson, he wants to work New Japan, but his whole thing is I want to work when they can make noise. And fingers crossed. Hopefully, the Japanese government allows that to fully be done at a wide scale.
Yes,
at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. I know they're starting to kind of slowly open that back up with some of the smaller shows.
Yeah,
but like I think when I think Tokyo Dome and January 4th, like Ospreay and Omega, Danielson, Zack Sabre, Punk versus Tanahashi. Those seems like 3 easy matchups that make sense to make just for the show. You know.
Well, not even like because I'm not a Noah fan, like a current Noah fan at all. Like I just watch some of the stuff. But like, what if night 3 is just Noah versus New Japan again?
I mean, they could do
So
that, but
it'll be the same thing. It'll be tag matches, but it'll be good. It will be good. Like no one can say it's not good, especially when it's all said and done. But
I think the time period. I think the time period in which they did Forbidden Door was a good time period to do it, though. I think it should be like every June, like in the middle of Double or Nothing and All Out. Just even though it did mess with some stories.
Yeah, it was a bit close. I think it was 4 weeks difference, I believe.
Yeah.
Which
wait, what? Forbidden Door and Double or Nothing?
Yeah, right? Forbidden Door and
right back. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Double or Nothing. 4 weeks, especially with the way AEW do their build.
They like to kinda,
it's not exactly the most ideal, but I'll definitely get Rob's point with it kind of being in that gap between AEW shows and also a nice amount of time away from the Wrestle Kingdom show, and also like doing it around that time of summer. It's like if, say, for example, AEW did send a lot of people to the G1, which is something I think we'll see in the future, even though we've been saying that for a couple of years now. But I do genuinely think maybe next year or maybe the year after, like we'll really start to see like, nothing against Lance Archer. I love Lance Archer, but like some real heavyweights going
bigger
over
names,
there and being in the G1. And so if you do for the Forbidden Door at the time they'd done it, just before the G1, it's kind of it's kind of like a taster of seeing them like mix it together with some of the Japanese talent before they go over and be in the G1. If things play out the way I hope they do in a couple of years, but
one thing, like the last thing is like I think Forbidden Door worked out so well because the dream matches and matches that we wanted to see were like in front of actual fans. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see it on a New Japan camera, in front of a New Japan camera, but it's like I can't watch all these dream matches I want to see where all I'll be able to get as a reaction from the crowd is just a single clap, like them clapping at what they wanted to see.
Yeah, you could tell the New Japan guys were fired up for it as well, like because they didn't hear the crowd for so long, and just as soon as they got in the building, they just must have knew. And it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those guys are probably wanting to come over here over to the States at the moment. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. Desperado's facing Mox soon. Obviously, there's that New Japan US card which they're kind of stacking up. But yeah, man, hopefully the more we get of these two companies mixing together, there's so much talent, like you'll never run out of matchups to make. Even matchups that you didn't know but you wanted to see. There's a few, like even our Desperado versus Mox, like that's going to be like incredible because he's going to be motivated Desperado, which if you're going to criticize him for anything, he's a tremendous wrestler, but it's like many of the wrestlers on that Japanese schedule, it's like sometimes they're just kind of they save themselves for those matches that really get them fired up, and I'm sure this against John Moxley in America in front of real fans is not that Japanese fans are fake fans; they just can't cheer at the moment. So in front of cheering fans, I'm sure. I think we'll get something that'll over exceed expectations as far as that one goes. To be honest,
absolutely.
You know what's funny? Monty, in one of my chats, AO said y'all need super chats. I have some things to get off my chest, which unintentionally sounds very threatening, but yeah, I'm gonna tell him to just send it to me.
We need for super chats. We need 1,000 subscribers. So
really?
If all the new fans that Anna's just brought over subscribe, we might get to it.
Anna, bring all 5,000 of your fans over and
we're trying to get there, but eventually it shouldn't take too much longer. But
Monty, could you just imagine a reality where like it's like boom, $70 super chat to Anna, and the question's like, Anna, do you like this guy or that guy? That's just like,
bro, that's what they are. Like, people ask us very like not even boring, just like blunt questions.
Yeah, no,
Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, but they just want to know where you stand on these typical arguments.
The funniest, and this wasn't like for money, but like, so for those who don't know, and I don't know if Anna knows, but I do have some sources in the industry, right? And so I'm privy to some like information. And so it's funny, like I'll be in a space, right, just kind of vaguely referencing something, and someone will just DM me like, "Hey, Hangman, is Sasha coming back?" I'm just like, it's so funny.
That's what the people want to know, though. Like to us, like fucking nerds, like we want to know like the nuance stuff and the details and stuff. Like to most wrestling fans, they just want to know when's Roman next wrestling, is Sasha coming back, when's Kenny and CM Punk coming back.
Literally.
No, that's like it.
Literally, yeah.
Is the MJF stuff real?
Real, yes.
Literally like the top 5 questions we get asked daily on Twitter and on Spaces, like every day.
Yeah, I the funniest one was I remember someone reached out to me, and she'll know who she is when she hears this, but she was like, "Hey man, I have only one reason to watch Money in the Bank, and it depends on your answer here." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "Is Sasha Banks going to be at Money in the Bank?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." And then she was like, "Is Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank?" And I went, "Probably." And she was like, "Thank you, Hangman. I love you." And I was just like, I didn't book it. I'm just telling you what's happening. Like I didn't book it.
I don't really get asked wrestling questions. The thing I get asked the most is for nudes. Actually,
that's insane.
Perverts everywhere in this wrestling community. You can't have nothing.
If people want to ask me about wrestling, just
Anna, you didn't have to expose Rob live on the Wrestle Purists podcast.
Oh no!
It's just we gotta keep Rob's misdoings in house until we figure out what we're gonna do there. But yeah, no, that's insane. If you're bothering Anna, you need to like fucking relax, seriously. But yeah, man, it's just we do need super chats. I think it'd be great. So we do have to get our subs up and see what happens there.
So yeah, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, stop being a pagan and get yourself subscribed.
Man, absolutely subscribe. If you truly love me, it's what you would do. I'm looking forward to getting to this point where we can do super chat so that I can give you guys like 2% of the profits and I can pocket everything else and I can spend it on food. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. We'll do one last news thing before we get into Dynamite. I just wanted to bring you up because it just popped me huge.
What's up?
The Briscoes, they have signed long-term deals with Ring of Honor. This news was broken by Tony Khan on the Death Before Dishonor media call, which was earlier today. And we know now where the Briscoes are going to be for the foreseeable future. We know that they're signed up, and we know that they're safe, whatever you want to call it, man. It's I'll be honest, they're literally
the trenches of Impact.
Yeah, all that and everywhere else, to be honest, like because like with the Briscoes with their name value and stuff like that, like if they were floating around as free agents, like they could literally end up anywhere. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, it's just like Ring of Honor, genuinely probably my favorite promotion of all time. My favorite tag team of all time are probably the Briscoes. It did get a bit dicey with the reports of, I believe it was Warner Brothers kind of like wanting to stay away from them, etc. But it seems that Tony Khan has obviously, fought his way to get what he wants as far as as far as they go. And to be honest, obviously, I believe it was Mark who made the tweet, the homophobic tweets, however many years ago it was, but it was a long time ago, and I'm not excusing him at all for that. But he is worth noting that there is some people who have vouched for him in as far as that goes, in terms of like turning a new leaf and being like one of the good guys, etc.
Ian Riccaboni.
That's what I mean. Like if Ian Riccaboni's going to bat for you, then like that's. I'm not exactly the person who measures what's right or wrong, but I'll be honest, that's good enough for me. I can't speak for anyone else on this channel or anyone else in the chat who watches this, but just for me personally, that's more than good enough for me. Because like I said, Ian Riccaboni, he's got like a tremendous reputation, and it's just not, especially that subject, but that's not something that I think he would take lightly and vouch for someone, because it's not like he had to do it. You know what I mean? I'd assume he would have just stayed quiet on the subject if they hadn't have, if he hadn't have truly believed that there's, kind of not that way inclined.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm just absolutely buzzing that the the Briscoes are going to be a part of a promotion that is very prominent, and they'll get a lot of spotlight, and they can look at the match that they've got booked.
I was telling. I remember when this first started, especially after the whole Discovery thing. I remember telling people on Spaces and everything too. I was like, "Dog, it is so kind of depressing seeing the Briscoes going from performing in Madison Square Garden in front of 15,000, 16,000 people to performing in front of 200 people that barely react on Impact." And it was just kind of like, so I was surprised actually that they actually let them sign the Briscoes back because of what we heard with the executive. But thank God, because that ROH tag team division was looking kind of shaky without FTR and the Briscoes. And what they had on Dark.
The Ring of Honor tag team division kind of Ring of Honor is going to be somewhere where Tony kind of gets his creative juices flowing, I think. More so than AEW, because obviously AEW may have to kind of play it safe.
Yeah.
We've kind of seen that with the way that he kind of books the show sometimes with the minute by minute booking.
Where he's very much like looking at what's working, what's not, and just kind of sticking to that.
Yeah, and he keeps his audience overstimulated at times.
Yeah.
There's always something happening. It's like match, segment. Like it's such it's a variety show, and some weeks they can throw too much at you all in a short amount of time, and sometimes it's literally some of the best wrestling television in the history of the medium. So, it's you get what you get. And like I said, I think Ring of Honor will be a lot more like you'll get, like the Trust Busters and Tully Enterprises and fucking. I think there'll be a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan, when he gets experimental, he's like. It's almost like live action shit posting, it feels like. He'll just be like, yeah, let me just throw Parker Boudreaux with like a basketball headband on and like this guy and that guy. And it's like, where did that even come from? Even the wingmen last year, like, how do you even come up with that? How do you take those four people, whoever it was, and just say, I'm going to put them together and they're going to be wingmen for each other? Like, it's so random. It feels like shit posting. And so it's good that ultimately that he was able to secure the Briscoes because they're frankly too talented to not be under his banner. And Ring of Honor really needs them as a brand. And I think them and FTR and a few other teams could be the pillars. There's a couple veteran there's a couple veteran tag teams right now out there in the independent scene, whether it's the Motor City Machine Guns or the American Wolves, that I think would be effective and useful to at least book for spot shows. But you're going to need some youth. You're going to need some new talent. You're going to need some new acts that you're going to get over. And I do anticipate Tony just kind of plucking. The Tony way of doing things is just pluck indie wrestlers, throw them on Dark, and then randomly he just goes, you and you. How about we just tag you together and see what happens?
Right.
That's how the Acclaim came to be. The Acclaim, they weren't tagging together before AEW. He really just took Anthony Bowens and Max Caster and said, okay, guys, tag and just let's see what happens. And then the Acclaim stuff. Yeah, and so I could see him literally just throwing random, young indie wrestlers together and seeing what happens. And I think he's going to try a lot of things. I think not everything's going to work, obviously, because that's just not how things go.
Yeah, that's wrestling.
But I think a couple of them will land, and some of them will turn into something very worthwhile. So we'll see where that goes. But on the Briscoes, it's good that he kind of locked them down. I was worried about them when they were in Impact.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I know you got anything to add about the Briscoes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm really glad they're not on Impact anymore. That's the thing I'm happiest about. I know I'm in the minority here, but I really don't like Impact that much. So
I love them. They're my favorite promotion.
What are we doing? What happened to this once great platform that we put a lot of work building this thing?
Anna for a split second twitched when I said I loved
it. The worst thing is I don't mind it, but not at the scale of I'm not doing none of this.
The blue tomato time. That's funny. No, go to what you're saying.
I'm glad for the Briscoes because I think they just have that Ring of Honor thing about them. I don't know, they just fit there really well. And I think they're really going to take their tag division to another level. If their second match with FTR is as good as the first one, and I think it's it has the space to be better because it's a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be really great. They can really set the tone for the division for years to come.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
This second Briscoes FTR match.
Yeah,
I'm so like, I'm so interested to see like what they're going to do. You know, like it's going to be great. Like the floor is like, you know, the floor's so high for those two teams. Like the worst it can be is like a really great tag team match and demonstration of tag team wrestling at worst. That first match is I'm not sure if they can top it, but I'm not like expecting them to, you know, because it's just so. It was just special, man. The atmosphere, like it was its own event within the card. It was like just. I've said it plenty of times on these podcasts, but I genuinely think it's the best tag match to ever take place on American soil. I know that'll probably hurt Rob's feelings, but
No. Actually,
Monty, you can't hurt Rob's feelings unless it's my take, because what happens is,
Rob
is very diplomatic and sensible and like a normal human being when other people say things. But when I say things that he mildly disagrees with, he has to scream about it, specifically in my quotes, and then send it to all his group chats to send his army of sheep to fight with me.
Absolutely. No. Actually, I was going to say, I hope they mentioned this. Well, they didn't. They had a chance to mention this. I hope they mentioned it on Rampage or something. The Briscoes did a promo or something. But the Briscoes have actually never lost 2 out of 3 falls matches. I think that's
never. I think they've only lost 1 fall. I think they've swept pretty much everyone. Everyone, but I think there's one team and they've done it to kind of, you know, try and make them buy that there was a chance and etc. So
and FTR actually. In my opinion, FTR have the best 2 out of 3 falls match. One of the best 2, well, if not one of the best 2 out of 3 falls match that WWE's probably ever done. Well, one of them at least. So, I think this would be a pretty good one. It might end up being better than the first one, and it might not. You know.
Yeah, it could.
Not every sequel lives up to the original. So
that first one was such like fantasy booking and. It was like I said, it felt like its own event within the card. Like the way, as soon as the graphic came up, the whole place stood up. Like it was just, it was just mad special. And that sort of thing will happen again now, but I just don't think it will. Who knows? I could be wrong, and they'll go out there and literally have like a 7.5-star match or something.
Yeah, I remember we were watching it like on our Discord. And I remember I was watching it and like the feeling of the bell ringing and like these 2 tag teams actually being in the same room. Everybody was going crazy, and it's only rare that you get that feeling. So.
But maybe because the first match was so great, the public is going to be so much more excited for the second match. I think that atmosphere is going to be pretty similar. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great match.
The thing is, like you said, Monty, the ceiling's so high. Even if they don't quite reach the magic of the first match, literally at worst, it's a great tag match on a show that has a lot of matches that are probably going to be great. You know what I mean? Which is why, like, to me, I'm not even like worried about like, is it going to live up to this or that? It's like literally at worst, it's going to be awesome. And you know, there's a couple other matches, like I said, you know, whether it's Garcia and Yuta, whether it's the Gresham Claudio match, that I do think is going to deliver. You know, this is going to be a great show. You know,
I think it's just I'm just interested to see how it goes, like how these 2 teams plan out this match. You know, Joe, our friend Joe, who's on the podcast sometimes, well, a lot of the times, to be honest. I'm sure most people are familiar with him. He thinks that there's a good chance that Briscoes just run through FTR for the first fall, which wouldn't surprise me too much. I think it would add quite a lot of drama, to be honest. Then you kind of do like the FTR build and the comeback, and they like kind of get the second fall. Then the third fall is like where you do like the home stretch, kind of, you know, go crazy sort of thing. I'll be honest, I'll get your predictions on it as well. I could, especially now that we know that they're under contract, I could definitely see the Briscoes winning this.
Part
of me, I know, like I said earlier, so I'll probably have a bit of a bias towards it. And I absolutely adore FTR as well, but I think I want the Briscoes to win, to be honest. What about you? What about you, Hollywood? I'll get your prediction first, but we'll go around. Who do you think will walk away with the Ring of Honor titles on it's Saturday, I believe?
Pro wrestling is a trilogy business. The Briscoes are signed. We're not rushing the FTR Young Bucks at all out, so there's some more time to kind of do what they have to do. Full gear isn't until November. It's July. So for all those reasons, and also for the fact that the Briscoes have never lost a 2 out of 3 falls match, I think the Briscoe takers win this match here, and they and the streak is alive. I think they win this. Actually, the more I think about it, and it allows for a return match. So
Yo, the Briscoe takers is crazy.
Yeah. They have the same flags in their house.
Lisa. So anyway, Anna, who do you think's going to win the match on Saturday?
I have no idea. I was thinking about that before coming on. The only thing I'm sure is that this is going to be the biggest match on the card. It's going to be the longest. But other than that, I have no idea, because I think they're pushing this thing of the Briscoes never losing a 2 out of 3. Sorry, 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, sorry. There we go. They never lost it before, so maybe they're pushing it as a way of pushing FTR even more when they finally beat the Briscoes. I have no idea, but I think this is a match that I'm glad with either results. I don't really care. I'm not really on the side of any specific team. I think I'm just glad to see the match happening.
For sure. That's actually my stance with Garcia and Yuta. Like, I forgot. I think it was last year, the week before. Monty was like, "Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win? Who should win?" And I was like, I don't know what all 3 of those answers. I just know that I'm looking forward to seeing them wrestle. I'm really excited for that match. But really, like, to me personally, the result doesn't really matter personally. So
yeah, that's kind of not what you want, but it's not exactly a bad thing when either result can kind of pop you either way. But yeah, Rob, who you taking this Saturday? FTR versus Briscoes, 2 out of 3 falls.
As much as I love, as much as I love FTR, I feel like the real American Briscoes are taking it. And it sucks because I don't want them to come out with Confederate belts, dog. I don't want FTR to lose any of the belts they have right now. It's like one of the best runs I think I've ever seen as long as I've been alive. And it's just like, but that signing kind of just basically told me, yeah, Briscoes are taking it. But bro, dude, at this point, let's talk about it. Do the Briscoes really need to become like 20-time fucking ROH tag team champions? Like what? Like do they need?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
No,
they don't. Yes. No, they don't.
But here's the result. This time they'll have a title reign on TV.
There you go.
Yo, we need. Yeah. When was the last time Briscoes first booked? It kind of been that long ago, but it's obviously been a few years.
About 5 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say it can't have been that long ago, but it's just like that'll feel so different now, you know?
Yeah.
Just bro. I'm just happy, man. I'll be honest. Briscoe is probably my favorite tag team ever. Jay Briscoe is legitimately like one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Yeah. So just happy that I know that they're locked down under the Tony Khan umbrella. But yeah, last night was AEW Dynamite. Apparently, we're about 50 minutes in, so we should probably get to.
We should probably
let's get to the review.
Dynamite was last night.
Was that a thing?
Yeah, but apparently. But we won't go through every last thing. But there is quite a lot of highlights. So it was a.
Listen, hold on, Monty. I'm gonna cut you off. The only thing worth talking about in this show is that Stokely Hathaway walked out with Jermaine Dupri, and so that is the biggest headline from this Dynamite. And it's the only thing we need to focus on, and we should talk about it for about.
I don't know, man. TMZ seemed to be saying something else. So.
Yes. Kevin Gates throws the best punch in wrestling.
We'll get there. But,
Kevin Gates went on TV and Tony Nese pressed him, and that Louisiana kicked in.
Bro, he punched him for real. But like, I stood down. He literally hit him. Like, he literally hit him. And he was really stiff. But what was it? But he was about to laugh too. Look at his face. He was like, "What am I doing?"
This is the thing. What was Tony Nese gonna do? What was Tony Nese actually gonna do? It's either get up and hit him back and get jumped after the show.
Who knows, bro? We'll break it down in great detail in about 5 minutes. But before that, we had a great opener for Dynamite. I personally love this match. It was almost striking like how dominant Brody went over. He just kind of kicked the shit out of Darby. And Darby in this sort of position, so obviously I can get, if you're a big fan of him, you can kind of be like, be bummed out about him getting kind of like run over like this, and he hasn't had a big win in a minute, etc. But like, he's selling, and the way that he bumps and shit like that for this sort of match, like, he's beyond perfect for it. I really like this, and like I said, it was very striking to see how dominantly Brody actually just kind of ran through Darby, to be honest. But...
All right, you know what? Go ahead. I'll say my soliloquy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember last night we were watching it on Discord together, and I'm watching this, and I didn't even realize when I first watched it earlier in the night, Brody King literally went into the settings and turned on ragdoll physics and put Darby Allin and put 2-player on Darby Allin and just threw him. Bro, when he pulled him up by the belt buckle and basically threw him on the top of his head, I was like, dog.
It's insane.
Darby Allin, I don't understand how, and this is the crazy part. Darby Allin does all this and he will continue to say, I've never broken a bone. I've never had to have surgery, which is insane.
He's he's nuts, we make the jokes like he's made of rubber, he's got a rubber neck, etc. But and he's gonna be hurting when he's older, But I more than enjoy him at the moment, and he's obviously he don't run from the grind at all. So God bless you. But yeah, Anna, what was your take on the Dynamite opener last night?
I thought it was the best match of the night. It was my personal favorite. I really liked it. I personally love seeing Darby Allin getting his ass kicked. Just really pleases me. Makes me really happy.
Yeah.
So, I think it was great. I loved seeing that they kept pushing Brody after he lost to Mox, because I wasn't sure how they were gonna go after that. And the whole thing after the match with Sting and Malachi staring at each other, I think was a great opener. The best thing on the show yesterday, of course. It was a great match.
Well, Hollywood, you got a take on Sting versus Brody King, the annihilation of Darby Allin?
You did not call on me and then skip on asking me my thoughts on this opener.
I just asked you.
Oh, I thought you asked me on like.
What are you talking about? Your response to me asking you was you didn't ask me.
He literally just said, "What are your thoughts on the massacre?" He just said that.
Hi, man. Your opinion on the match? Fuck you, man. Why didn't you even? No, okay. So here's the deal. This was sensational. I thought, Monty, this was the best part of the show by a country mile. And I think in fact, it set the standard so high to start the show that like nothing could even live up to it. And it just felt like we were given like literally like a banquet 5-star meal. And then we kind of were eating fast food for this, the show, so to speak. Cause here's my thing. And I know this is not going to be everybody's opinion. And I know, like, for example, I was talking with people in our chat who was just kind of like, yeah, there was no great standout must-see match this week. And it's like, no, I totally disagree. To me, this was like one of the just most striking Dynamite matches of the year. Brody King, this was like a coming out party for Monty. I've always been high on his skill set and his ability. for years now. And when he was brought in like as a member of the House of Black, I was obviously excited to see him be a part of AEW and be a part of the system. But I think sometimes being only in trios matches and tag matches doesn't fully allow you to fully showcase just how good you are. You know what I mean? And I think if you only saw Brody in AEW, you think, okay, like he's a pretty good like mobile big man, right? But no, he's even more than that to me. Like I'm not gonna say he's Walter, but like this guy is like freaking. Like he's a tremendous big man. I thought this was like one of those matches where you watch it and you think, yeah, this guy needs to be someone kept perpetually in a mix of being involved in like main event type of matches, and someone who really shouldn't lose to anyone other than like the core 4 or 5 baby faces in your company. I thought, Monty, this was honestly like Brock Lesnar versus small wrestler level great in that like it creates the exact same atmosphere. Like everything he did, every offensive move, Monty, that Brody did made me react either physically or audibly. I was like either just kind of cringing or shaking or going, holy shit, because every elbow cutoff he does to Darby where he just slumps over at the elbow, or every chop where he's just smacking the shit out of his chest, throwing him onto the barricade. Again, it's just a perfect mix because Darby is like the best ragdoll in wrestling. He is really good at just getting thrown around. He's really good at just falling and getting his like Anna said, his ass kicked. Like it's sensational, and you can literally have half the match just be Darby getting beat up, and it's great because here's the thing, Monty. It's not your everyday heat segment for a heel. Other matches where the heel is just dominating that long, it might get a little boring or uninspiring. But for this, it's like you're watching it just literally like astonished at just how dominant this guy looks. Like his offense looks so threatening and scary. I'll tell you this, right? The main event was supposed to be this barbed wire everywhere match that was supposed to be, like violent and dangerous and scary. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there was a bigger sense of tension, drama, and danger and violence in this opener. And it's with 2 guys fighting with their bare hands. And it's because of the size difference. It's because of the match layout. It's because of the selling. It's because of the offense. So Brody King looked like an absolute killer in this match. And Darby, all his comebacks were logical. They were well timed. They were fiery and exciting. But ultimately, he was fighting a losing fight, and it was hopeless. And Brody cut him off at the right time, choked his ass out, yanked his ass back in the ring, spiked him right on his dome with that Gonzo bomb, and literally the best Gonzo bomb I've ever seen. Yes, it looked like he literally folded him in half and broke his neck and then pinned him. And I was just like, God damn.
I usually never tweet about it, but as soon as he had the Gonzo bomb, I was like, that Gonzo, fuck. Like,
exactly. It
was phenomenal.
And it's funny, I watched the match first last night on Discord, and Rob was there and a couple other people were there. And like if they were like I tried to get guys to like be quiet during the match because I actually wanted to just like take it all in, right? And all they can hear when they're watching the Discord is just me go, like every 2 seconds. And then when he does the Gonzo bomb, I literally go,
Bro, I didn't even realize like when he pulled up by the belt buckle, I didn't even realize he threw him actually on his head till they went to the bird's eye. And I was like, you heard me. I was like, wait, he's throwing on his fucking head.
Bro, it's crazy. It's like Brody, I think Hollywood said it great when he said it was like a coming out party. Like even though he had the world title match last week, the week before, recently against Moxley, this felt more like a statement, to be honest.
100%.
Brody's just tremendous. Like, yeah, it's all good. He looks big, he looks scary and everything, but he actually has the aura of it. His offense looks brutal. His heat isn't just like headlocks. It just looks brutal. Like I said, it was just the match was just great, man. The Darby hope spots and Darby's attempts at a comeback, which weren't very long at all. Brody did literally take like 90% of this match. They were all well timed. Then the cut-off spot, Brody were all well timed and just looked brutal and vicious. It was just a real coming out party for him.
Absolutely.
It really was.
Absolutely.
It was tremendous. Then after the match, we had the whole the Malachi Sting confrontation. And Miro of all people made the save. He kind of his music hit and he came out and he kind of stood at the top of the ramp and looked mean, and that part of it probably could have been a little bit better. But one thing I thought was really noticeable is like how much the crowd seems into it when Malachi and Sting come face to face. They've definitely got something there, and
Also,
yeah, man, it was great. It was great stuff. It was a great opening match segment, etc.
I don't know if anybody noticed. I know Hangman is not really the biggest fan of the Malachi lore or whatever. I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you look at Miro's glasses subtly, the left side, like his left eye, was blacker than the right eye was, and that's right where he got hit with the miss. So
that was Rob
serious lore.
I am a huge listen. You guys know I'm a huge mark for lore, dog. I can't. I was paying attention. I was looking for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rob with our hashtag lore update of the week.
Oh God.
I will say I did notice that too, which is why I got kind of worried. I was like, I hope that Miro isn't joining the House of Black, and I hope it's just a swerve. I don't think
I don't think so. He's not God enough. He's not emo enough. He doesn't fit the vibe.
It's not him. Like
he's just like a big, like this,
why would you have this? Why would you have this guy? Right, like why would you have this guy, this big Bulgarian guy, going around talking about a year, talking about how much he loves God?
That's not like, man. It's not.
Oh my god, Anna, you know how back in his Rusev, he used to have like long hair, right?
Yeah.
So could you imagine?
It was really ugly.
Yeah. He looks like way like just better now, right? But could you imagine he grew it out, right, and then got like a weird like kind of emo cut where he cuts he fades his eyes, and then combs it over like a goth dude, like a punk dude,
and then Lana with the black hair and this,
He puts eyeliner and like he paints his nails black and gets like fake tattoos on his sleeves. Oh my god!
No, I think they're really building up to a Miro Singh and Darby match against the House of Black, and I think it's gonna be a great match. Like Miro and Brody going against each other. I hope they get a singles match as well because it's gonna be insane.
100%.
Yeah, it'll be good stuff. Potentially for All Out, maybe on a TV just before. We'll see what happens. But next up, we had John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus the Best Friends. I thought it was good. Nothing too crazy, to be honest. But yeah, man, not really too much to say about it, to be honest. It was nice. Nothing crazy, like I said. What did you think, Hollywood?
The only opinion I have on this is that the Trent Beretta Wheeler Yuta tension is a bit of an under the radar story happening in AEW, but it's one that I am interested in. I kind of like the whole idea of this kid comes in with this group and Trent's the one hater who's just not really feeling him, but everybody else is welcoming him, and that kind of coming to a head in an athletic contest. This didn't really do much for me personally. I didn't really think much of the match negatively or positively, but I do enjoy that dynamic, and I do think it should be explored a bit more. So,
what about you, Rob? How did you feel about it?
I did enjoy it. Just watching the match and just hearing the subtle on commentary, like he'll counter a wrist lock here and be like, see, if you'd have never got with us, he would not know how to do that.
Yeah, Regal was tremendous.
Oh my god, bro.
Bouncing back off Orange Cassidy and shit.
Orange Cassidy just sitting there obviously like visibly getting annoyed. I know his whole thing is always being stoic, but he's obviously getting annoyed. And then so when Yuta finally gets him with the pin, he gets up and goes, "Damn, Chuck taught him that pin," and he threw the fucking headset. It's just like that whole thing. I don't think it goes anywhere farther than what it is right now. I'm not to be like that guy, but I hope it doesn't. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
How about you, Anna? How did you feel about the Blackpool Combat Club Best Friends tag match earlier? Well, last night.
I actually really liked it. I think that it was a great showing for Yuta before before Dishonor match, because it was really the start of the match. The match revolved around him, and he had a great showing. I think he just keeps getting better and better, and I think it was really good for him. It was a great showing for Yuta.
Yeah, it feels like
the whole storyline and the pin in the end. Just so I thought it was really fun. I really liked it.
Yeah, it feels like they tried to make a point of because Wheeler took a lot of the heat in the match. You know, he kind of had the shit kicked out of him for a lot of it before Moxley came in and kind of just when Moxley gets in and just goes crazy and starts throwing people over the tables and shit like that was amazing. But Wheeler took a lot of the damage, so to speak, in this match, and it feels like I think they made a mention of it, like that he's got his big match coming up on the weekend, so maybe that is something to look out for. Look out for in the match with Garcia on Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure that's going to be tremendous. If anyone's seen the Road 2, if you haven't, I'd recommend going to watch it. It's probably the best Road 2 episode that AEW have ever put together. The sit down with Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia is tremendous. But yeah, next up we had the Butcher and the Blade kick the shit out of the Dark Order, and then Hangman appears, and this was, if you skip through, say if you was watching it the next day and you skip through your wrestling and you kind of skip through 30 seconds a minute, you could have easily have missed this. It was just so quick and so like what's happening right now. Right. 1 second it's a promo, the next second like I said, the Dark Order are just getting the shit kicked out of them by
right. I was about to say, because I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, it happened.
I thought it was pretty bad. I just didn't know what I was watching. John Silver was like just trying to offer this guy shirts that say Butch, and I was like, I don't get the joke. Is this like a WWE thing? Like, what's going on? And then they don't want the shirts, so they just start fighting them, and then Hangman's just like, hey guys, stop fighting them. Like, and it just ended, and we moved on. I was like, what was that? Like, literally, it felt like a skit, or it felt like a BT skit or some shit.
Stop fighting. Okay.
It was really awkward.
Yeah, it was awkward. That's the thing. It's awkward. Like a lot of backstage beatdowns with no crowd noise just feel kind of awkward. Like all you hear for like 20 seconds is and then we just switch back to like
hey guys, stop fighting. Okay.
I was like, all right.
Yeah, like I said, it felt like just a thing that happened on the show, But like I said, you could have blinked and missed it, sort of thing. So next up, we had Christian and Luchasaurus versus the Varsity Blondes. This, obviously, there isn't really too much to say about this. Luchasaurus just beat the shit out of the Varsity Blondes, and Christian tagged himself in and took the pin. And then after the match, we had the return of Jungle Boy, who comes out with a chair, looking ready to kick the shit out of Christian. Christian sends Luchasaurus to the outside of the ring to kind of in an attempt to block Jungle Boy from getting to the ring. And Luchasaurus just kind of had a stare down with Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus then just stepped to the side, and Jungle Boy chased Christian off through the crowd, and that happened. I'll be honest, I rolled my eyes and said, "What the fuck?" when Luchasaurus just stepped out the way.
Oh my god!
I don't know, man. Like, whatever.
I feel like since I was doing some extreme dick riding of this Luchasaurus thing a few weeks ago, I need a second to speak on this.
Answer for your crimes. Like, stand up.
Listen, man. I was
stand up. Jesus Christ.
I was sitting here. I was like, let's fucking go. We got Niggasaurus. He's about to get fucking lit. We about to start doing shit, man. He's a monster heel now.
That is a Polynesian man.
I'm looking at this. It doesn't potato. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at this. I'm watching this, and I'm just like, man, what is gonna happen, dog? I hope he tricks him and he just turns on him and kills Jungle Boy. But then it's just like, Luchasaurus, what are you gonna do? And he's just like, oh, you can go. And I'm like, all right, bro.
Well, I guess it's worth noting that.
No, it's like at this point, do what the fuck Hangman said. Take the mask off and send this nigga to Dark, bro. I'm done.
Okay. You know what, Monty? I was gonna say I had nothing to say about any of this, to be honest with you, but I was gonna just segue to Anna. But actually, you know what? Perfect timing. It's time for me to collect some receipts.
Leave me alone.
Nah. I'm on you.
Please leave me alone.
You see, you know what happens, Monty? This is what happens on every podcast. Backup Hangman is asked his opinion on things. I proceed to say the right take. I say the correct opinion, which sometimes is jarring to some people, and they can't handle it or they can't take it. It takes them a few, minutes to process it, And usually the normal human reaction to me speaking facts about some things is defensiveness, anger, sadness. And so what happens is it manifests itself in people just going to my mentions to yell. One of these people is Rob. What happens is, oh my gosh, he's bullying. No, I say the correct thing. Rob is like, no, nigga, that's not the no, nigga, it's the nigga. No, he doesn't need. He needs the mask. It's what he needs. It's what he needs. And what happens? What happens? You start shilling nonsense, and then a few weeks later, what happens? Backup Hangman was right. Hashtag Backup Hangman was right.
Tony Khan is racist.
And now you're upset, and now you're disappointed. And what happens? You look silly, you look goofy, and I'm right. Throw your tomatoes. This is what happens, everybody. This is what happens. You throw tomatoes because you don't have actual insightful things to say back to Backup Hangman, because you're not gonna out-incite me. You're not gonna outwit me. You're not gonna be correct. You can't beat me in a debate because what I say is correct. I think about what I say before I say it. Guys, I've been watching wrestling for decades. I've been watching wrestling longer than you've been driving cars or been with your families. I know what I'm talking about, guys. I know what I'm talking about. So I think going forward, what we need to do, guys, is when I talk about things, even when it upsets you, when you feel upset by a Backup Hangman take, what you do is you take a notebook, right? And you get a pen and you fight through the tears and just write it all down and get back to it later and just consider what I'm talking about and realize, wow, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. But with that said,
thank you, Peach.
What did Peach say? What did Peach say? She said I was right, right?
Mr. Mild Grin. What?
I do. Absolutely.
She said, "I, Mr. Mild Grin."
Yeah, absolutely. Again, for the record, everybody, I'm not mad right now. I'm not even happy. I have a mild grin. You know, it's my default face.
It's a Spaces joke. It's a Spaces joke.
Yeah. But again, listen. That notwithstanding, Monty, I actually didn't have much to say about any of this. And even though I watched this match, I was like struggling to remember a single spot. I couldn't even remember seeing it. But it's good that Jungle Boy's back. But with that said, what I'm more curious about knowing and what I'm more interested to talk about is I want to ask Anna. What do you make of heel Christian in general? Like, what do you think of heel Christian?
I really like it. I think the promos, it's really funny for me because I think Christian just goes around the backstage area asking people who has dead parents so that he can promo. He just walks around like, who's that's dead? You know? It's really funny for me. The promos are just insane. Yeah, no. When they said the thing about Jeff Hardy, I was just, oh my God. But wild. I have a thing to say about yesterday's segment is that I don't trust Luchasaurus. I don't trust him for a second. I don't trust that man. Yeah, I think that he never properly turned on Jungle Boy, so I think they're just building something up so that he can officially turn on him.
Hopefully.
Because it would make absolutely no sense. He's been here for like 3 weeks, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be awful. And then Christian will. Sorry, I'm not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna apologize to Hangman again.
Yeah, let's go.
This is crazy. Yeah. Monty, remind me to dock Anna's pay, please. Please continue.
I was not ready to hear the whole essay here. I'm not here
Wait. Y'all get paid? Wait.
So here's the we gotta keep that on low.
No, Hangman. You still have to pay me $100. I do. He owes me $100. Yeah.
I do. That we'll talk about it. I'll take it from Rob's paycheck, but that notwithstanding, here's the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, folks listening, what you saw from Anna, as well articulated as it was and as beautifully eloquent as it was, this is what we call coping and rationalization. She saw something that made no sense on the show. It made no sense, right? And it's because the premise of all of this, as I said it from the beginning, made no sense. And so what she's trying to do as a smart individual is make sense of something that makes no sense, because that's what people who are trying to rationalize and cope do. And for her sake, I hope she's right. I hope that this is a swerve. I hope something
If
happens.
If I'm right, I'm never gonna let you live that down.
Sure,
Just telling
I'll take
you.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah,
But
I
the
was
deal-
gonna say it's
Yeah.
it's probably worth noting that
Yeah.
it's not like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy fully reunited. You know,
No.
he just
No.
kind of stepped
It's a
out
good
the
observation
way.
by Anna, actually. It's a good observation, which is why I'm going to give it to her. Unlike Rob, she put some insight into her deal here. She's putting some, analysis here. It is true. They didn't directly, reunite or do anything. There wasn't a direct even turn. He's kind of moved out the way.
Yeah. But
It could be a Christian plan. For her sake, not Rob's sake, but for her sake, I hope that she's right and, this works out. But realistically, as a realist, as a pessimist, I do think this was just the babyface turn for him. But I'm hoping not.
But I just think that what they could have done, I was originally I was like, yeah, just send him back to dark without the mask. But like, no, to be really honest and truthful about what I feel, I did hate the way that he. I didn't hate him stepping out of the way. I hate the way that it was done. I hate the way of where it was just like he just stepped out of the way and stood by him, like he was turning on him and going back to. I think they should have just had him walk off to the side instead of walking and standing by Jungle Boy, because we still don't know where he stands, because he ran when Jungle Boy ran after Christian, he just stood there. So we don't know. We don't even know what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
Could have been executed better.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we had a Gun Club promo, which was a Gun Club promo. Probably nothing to say about that. And next, we had the Cole Carter versus Ricky Starks match, which seems to have split a few opinions. Some people were actually impressed by Cole Carter. Some people are calling it a Ricky Starks carry job. Some people are calling it a bit of both. Some people are asking why it was on the show. Some people are mad at the afters. Yeah, it happened. I'll start with you for this one, Anna. What was your thoughts on Cole Carter versus Ricky Starks for the prestigious FTW Championship?
It just happened. I have no idea why they put 2 dimes on TV like that. I don't know what was going on. Tony Khan's mind. I was really confused when they first announced the match. It took me a good a full hour to realize who that man was, because I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Oh my God.
I'm not a big NXT 2.0 fan, but when I saw people talk about 2 dimes, I remember that thing that they killed him off, and that was insane.
He's swimming with the fishes.
With the fishes. Yeah, but it just happened. I think it was an okay match. It wasn't a bad match, not at all, but it was okay. I think it was way too long. It was weirdly long. I didn't expect it for it to go that long. And the aftermath, I like Danhausen, so I was excited for it, and I think it's leading to Hook. No, I'm not. Hey, I don't think Danhausen's winning the title. I'm not pulling for Danhausen to win the title. I think that's leading to Hook versus Ricky, and Hook winning the title. It would make a lot of sense for me personally. If Danhausen wins the title, I don't know, but I like him. I think it's gonna be fun. It's not gonna be a great match, of course. It's gonna be a funny moment.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say.
Hangman, you want to go first, or?
Sure.
All right, go.
And just again, for those who don't watch NXT 2.0 that listen to this podcast, Cole Carter is the former 2 dimes. 2 dimes was one of the Italian mafia stooges of wrestler Tony D'Angelo, who had a stable called the D'Angelo family. Cole Carter was recruited by WWE.
Has. Sure. It's a growing family, bro. Come on.
Yeah. It is a growing family. So the bottom line is Cole Carter. He was a performance center recruit. He made it through the tryouts. They liked his size, his build, his look. And so what happened with him was they decided the best way to use his ability is to make him a stooge, so to speak, a part of the stable. Now, he failed a drug test for an unidentified substance, and so WWE let him go. And
I don't think it was that reason, but
Well, the official reasoning that I was given is that he tested positive for a substance that was banned, and they fired him. And so they had to explain it on TV. And what they decided to do was Tony D'Angelo threw him into the ocean and killed him. So he was in the segment. He said that Two Dimes is sleeping with the fishes. So
it's a little bit too realistic for me.
In WWE canon, he is dead. And so literally Tony Khan for Shark Week did this purely to make a Shark Week pun and say that, and just so that Ricky Starks could do the joke of, last thing I heard was that you're swimming with fishes. You're sleeping with fishes. Well, now you're going to be swimming with sharks. So good for Tony for getting that in. We got NXT 2.0 lore on the show. When it comes to the match itself, you know what occurred to me, Monty? This is the first time actually. Never have I watched NXT 2.0 or NXT, the original NXT, and thought Shawn Michaels is a genius. But it was actually this match that made me realize Shawn Michaels might be a genius, because I'm watching this Cole Carter fellow. You're like, where's he going with this? Hear me out. So I'm watching this guy Cole Carter, right? And I'm like, this guy, no offense to him, has nothing. Like he's just like a canvas, like a blank slate. He feels like a creator wrestler. He even had like, if you go back to his backstage segment, he's literally making like robotic trained facial expressions. He feels like a guy who's pretending to be a human being. And like he has to remember to not be a cyborg. And so like Ricky says something and he's like, angry face, turn head.
Oh my god, bro, Hangman, you know what it felt like? It felt like talking to somebody backstage and like, here comes the pain, or like shut your mouth.
In the video games, right? Yeah,
like it felt.
Yeah. And so I'm watching the match, and like his in-ring is pretty standard and generic. His moves are pretty just generic. Everything about him, like nothing really is like striking. And so I'm watching him, and I'm like, damn,
yeah, Jamie, yeah.
Oh my god, an Axiom fan. Yeah, but no. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, damn, Shawn Michaels took this guy, this just plain guy, and made Two Dimes. I was like, man, what a fucking genius! Like that's crazy, bro. He made this guy into like an epic meme wrestler. You know what I mean? I was like, man, that's crazy. But yeah, the match itself, literally nothing to say about it as a wrestling match. I am not a fan of Danhausen personally, but what I will say is that Ricky Starks is so talented that I have faith in him making pretty much anything work. He made this work. He was just wrestling a guy, but it wasn't like the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? And Danhausen comes out, and they're gonna have a match, and the promo interaction, it was fine. The match itself, Monty, I know you're like on the verge of tears, but like to me, the match, it is what it is. Ricky's gonna make it work. This is a segment in a long line of a lot of like sports entertainment segments on this show. I thought this show was very sports entertainment and celebrity heavy, like more so than usual. And I don't think that's neither good or bad. It's just a bit of a change of pace for AEW, and it was interesting to see. You know what I mean? But if anyone's going to be able to be good at sports entertainment, it's the future sports entertainer, Ricky Starks.
All right. Yo, you making the block hot. Anyways, so I am indifferent. I am actually indifferent. I didn't think it was great, the best thing ever. Don't get on me yet. I feel like Cole Carter right now.
Rob has a Two Dimes poster in his room for
oh God. Absolutely. I have the entire family as on a poster in my room, but no. I feel like Cole Carter is nothing for now.
Sure.
Aside from that, I did appreciate the little tidbits on commentary of the continued ECW lore in 2022, talking about the first guy was me and it was Sabu, whatever.
Yeah. About the FTW title, yeah.
Yeah, a huge ECW mark. Then the match ended, and I'm like, okay. So he goes, I want another open challenge. And I'm like, okay. And then I see Danhausen walk out. and now Monty and Hangman can tell you. I know Hangman wasn't checking for spoilers, but I started spamming the group chat like, please, God, no. For the love of God, don't do what I think you're going to do, please. And then he was like, next week. And so when I'm being told, which is not by anybody in AEW, but what I was suggested in one of my group chats is that this is probably going to lead to something with Hook and Team Taz.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's too early for that right now. Unless somebody has an indifferent.
I kind of want them to like. I mean, I would love to see them wrestle each other, but I also want to see them team together, though. I think all three of those guys are like really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. We've never even gotten a trios match with them yet.
No, exactly. I want to see them just in. We don't get, ever since Hook started wrestling, he doesn't kind of stand with them. He doesn't hang out with them on screen anymore. And that's a bit disappointing. Yeah. I want to see them kind of just together because like they're literally three of the coolest people on AEW's entire roster, and they're in the same group. So like God, just imagine them all kind of tagging in and do their cool stuff. Every single one of them would get a pop. You know what I mean? Because they all provide different, unique things to
all would. I'm not really entirely against the idea of Ricky dropping the FTW title to Hook in the next couple months, soon, couple weeks, whatever it is. Sure. Because to be honest, I think I feel like it's been time, to be honest, to give Ricky that proper singles push.
Yeah.
I know they want to do the tag stuff, definitely, especially with recent reports suggesting the Big Five, and obviously with Starks and Hobbs being one of those teams. I don't know, man. I feel like it's just time. Like, let's get this party started. Really, let's do it. Swap that FTW championship for, I don't know, maybe the eventual TNT title at the end of the year or something like that.
I was thinking when I was watching their entrance last night. What if Team Taz gets a Ring of Honor tag title run?
Yeah, potentially. I could. I don't know. They've been chasing the tag team titles for so long, especially with the attachment to Swerve and Lee, who are the champions right now. Like, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. For all we know, Ricky might not even interact whatsoever with Hook with this Danhausen thing. One thing I will point out and be the grumpy Brit about when it comes to the afters to this match, Ricky Starks was talking all this crud. He was saying, I'll send someone out. I feel good to go again. Send someone out. Bro, Danhausen comes out. Fucking Danhausen comes out, bro. And Ricky's all like, actually, not Danhausen. We'll do it next week. We'll do it next week. Bro, but that. Like said, people like Danhausen, etc. Yeah, like people like Danhausen and stuff, and I get it. But at the same time, it's like, why the fuck would Ricky not just kick the shit out of him and just pin him? Like, I just don't get it.
Especially considering his in-ring debut was Tony Nese running in and squashing him in like 2 seconds. If Tony Nese, who was like not a push guy on the show, really, he's not a guy. Yeah,
he just eats pins and has good matches.
Yeah, and he wasn't worried about. He wasn't sweating this guy, and he cooked him, right? So if he could just cook him on site, Ricky Starks should be like, all right, but get in the ring, bro. Go ahead, like we'll just do this. Get out of the way,
Yeah, just do it. Just do it, bro. But like I said, we'll see what happens. I doubt it's not exactly like the most significant part of the show, but moving on, we had a Willow Nightingale, Statlander, Athena promo. I love it when these three are together because it just feels kind of like so authentic and they're just kind of like silly, geeky, it just has a real like babyface raw charm about it. And man, this was obviously to set up the match that they had later with the I think it was the baddies, which was Jade and Kiera Hogan versus who was it?
Willow.
Kiera Hogan versus Willow and Athena.
Yeah, it was Willow and Athena. Stat wasn't involved on this one. Which makes me obviously think that the Athena match will come before the Statlander match, which is pretty natural thinking when you think of the build so far. Because there was a point like a week or so ago. It's like, okay, which one we're gonna go with, Because it seems like Jay's kind of in this feud at the moment where she could potentially drop the belt to. Willow would be a bit of a stretch, obviously. But it definitely feels like she could potentially drop the belt to Athena or Statlander. It's just a matter of picking which one. With Athena coming up first, seemingly, I'd assume that it's Stat. When I was watching this, I genuinely felt like. Again, it sounds like I want everyone to drop the belts and stuff, but I think Jade is actually ready to kind of be like the face of the division, to be honest.
Low key.
You know, like I know, which is kind of mad to say because AEW is like a work rate match promotion, and you know we know like Jade doesn't have like terrible matches or anything. I think she's long past that phase in like the greenness of her career because you know she's still ridiculously new to this. But you know she's had enough matches, especially on TV now, where I think she's polished enough to the point where you can really start to cook with her. And obviously she's a huge part of the TV anyway, and she's prominent. And the TBS title scene is quite exciting at the moment. But when I look at Jade and she's out there and she's just like, she just feels like she's the biggest star in the division right now.
Yeah.
I find it quite striking the way that it went from, kind of like, you know, like Jade standing tall, then like that kind of like aura around Jade. Then we switched straight to the Thunderstorm promo, which was backstage, and it felt so like mediocre in comparison, and it had nothing to do. It was no fault of Tony Storm or Thunder Rosa, but it was noticeable to me from like going from Jade, smash cut into that, and it just felt like two different levels, man. So I don't know where you guys stand on Jade being ready to be the face of the division, but I think that's where I'm at now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Andy, you go first.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I don't think it really matters the fact that Jade isn't the best in the ring because the current phase of the division is Britt Baker. So, I mean,
I knew it. That's
Is it Monty? Is it time? Should we just give her the floor and just let her just?
Yeah, just
talk about the women's division, Anna. Is it just time to just
oh, please,
Sure.
I have thoughts.
Sure. Actually, before you get into it, Hollywood Hangman Adam Pearce of Russell Pierce is an individual. He can only speak for his own opinions. For the record, I like the baddie section. I like Chris Statlander. Yes. I like all the Joshis that have appeared in AEW. I like Willow Nightingale. She's lovely and happy and cheery and makes me smile every time I see her. I like Athena. And anything that Anna says in the following few minutes are her own opinions. Right. Unless they're about Britt Baker, then they are everybody's opinions. Anna, the floor is yours. Let's just have a conversation. Cool. Let's talk about the women's division. Go ahead.
No, first of all, I'm gonna say that I agree with everything about Jade. I think Jade's the best. The personality they have in that division, she's just amazing. She just has it. She doesn't need to be the best in the ring to be the best. She's just that bitch. That's it. Mm-hmm. I think she's amazing. And the whole TBS title picture, I wish they had more time and whatever, but I think it's doing great for the division that they have and the way they treat their division. But Monty, you talked about the Thunderstorm promo. Oh my God. It's just so... I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not even annoyed anymore. I'm just so bored because it's the same thing over and over and over again. They cut to the female wrestlers backstage with Tony Schiavone because apparently they cannot do a promo on their own. Tony Schiavone has to be there every time. I don't get it. They just cut to the women's wrestlers. They talk about random stuff for like 10 to 15 seconds, and then another female wrestler walks in and she talks about stuff for 10 to 15 seconds, and then it's over. And it's been like that for so long right now. I think it really picked up this style of promo in Britt's reign. And when she lost the title, I thought, oh my God, we're free. This is over. We won't have to do Britt backstage doing the same promos over and over again. But it can't. It's still happening. It's still happening. Right. Why? Right. Just why? It's so boring. It's so fucking boring. I can't stand
Jordan
it anymore.
Patu said he's saluting his phone right now.
No, it's just so annoying. Honestly, I thought we were free from it. The last thing I want to see in my life is Britt versus Thunder Rosa again. I think I'd rather die. I'd rather watch Roman versus Brock.
Yes, go! Let's go!
They didn't have a match that was great enough. I don't think the unsanctioned Lights Out match was that good, so that they keep pushing this rivalry.
Let's go!
I'm just tired. I'm just really tired of Britt Baker,
Yeah.
and I'm tired of the way they're booking this division because it's the same thing. They have their 30 seconds backstage, and then that's it. Every fucking week, and then they book a random tag match for Rampage, and the tag match and there's a whole other thing. They missed the mark with James Stern on Britt. That should have happened months ago.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
And I'm
why
gonna
is she
interrupt you real quick. Last week, right? I was talking about Britt's segment, and someone interrupted. I don't even remember who it was. I think Monty was like, "Yeah, well, they are building the Jamie Britt," and I literally said, "Who could care at this point? Who could possibly care?"
I don't care. I literally said this, bro. I said this when they were doing the whole Owen tournament every week, and you nasty ass. No, let me see my AirPod out. You nasty ass niggas would come in my comments talking about what are you talking about? You know exactly what I was talking about. One of them should have turned on the other one during the cup. One of them should have turned on the other one by now. Listen, I'm not the biggest hater of Britt Baker in the world, right? But I'm last night. It was something clicked in me when I seen somebody in the group chat say Britt Baker. I was like, what? And I knew she was coming. I knew she was coming. It's always like this dark cloud. You could feel the presence of coming. Every time she comes in, every segment she walks into it's just literally, ha, you suck, I'm better. A real life instance that we talked about that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, that is a big problem with
I'm
Britt.
Tired. I'm tired.
Yes.
Well, you know what's crazy, guys? The most ironic part is, you know what Britt Baker's opening line in this segment was? It was something along the lines of like, "Why do we continue to give Thunder Rosa promo time?" I was like,
"Oh my god,
yes, so
yeah,
funny.
yes,
so funny.
Yeah, she said that we need less Thunder Rosa promos, like baby, the calls coming from inside the house.
Yes,
we know who we need less promos from. We know it. Let's be real.
It's like she's not. It's not even the fact that she's a bad promo. She's not a bad promo. It's just like I've been realizing it. The more and more people have said it on Twitter. It's like with her promos, she does not put anybody over. She doesn't put anybody over, and she buries everybody. Like with that promo segment, and this is how I knew Thunder Rosa was losing that match at Revolution. I'm watching the promo segment at the contract signing, and I'm watching Thunder Rosa get her little 30 seconds in, and Britt Baker just buries her for 2 minutes. Just goes straight into her for 2 minutes. And
yeah, that was nuts. I remember that.
Thunder Rosa says nothing. She gets no word in.
The Brit thing is like I said, I think I said it to a few of you guys yesterday. Like it is it's quite crazy to me that no one's actually Brit can talk. It's just the fact that like when she doesn't like get heat in her promos on her opponent, and like she don't say things that makes you wanna see the babyface get a comeback on her. Like she just goes out there and she just like buries them with these like non-kayfabe things, like it's just like the sandbag comment obviously is the obvious recent one. A lot of people didn't like that, me being one of them, because like what the sandbagging even fucking mean in kayfabe. Like,
what does that mean?
Like, and it's just like when you I guess there is always, you can argue there is times to do it and not to do it, as far as like work, shoot, whatever you want to call it. But the way, like I said, the way that Britt buries her opponents is in like a really, really unflattering way. And obviously, I get that she's a heel. Yeah. She's gonna shit on her opponents, but like, mate, try to be a bit smarter with your quirky digs and stuff. Like, don't just go out there and be like, "You're bad at promos. Yeah. You're a sandbagger. You're this, you're that." She says the promo thing's really a real thing as well, because like she says it to everyone, and it's like it's kind of nuts. And like I said, I think Britt Baker, like I think she's very frustrating. She's very agitating to see on TV with the way that she's used at this current time, and that's been the story for a lot of her run, especially if you're not absolutely won over by her, like say for example like our friend Murphy is. But I feel like we do this thing as wrestling fans and on wrestling Twitter where we kind of do the overcorrection, and now she kind of gets called like the worst wrestler in the world sort of thing. It's like there is definitely something there to be worked with. It's just that like I said, many of the examples I just mentioned, it's not. it's not good luck. I don't want to come on here and just do like a whole lot slander piece on a wrestler. But it's just like, come on. You know, there's four people here that have
If it's
had
Britt
enough.
Baker, I'll do a slender piece on Britt Baker.
But this is the crazy. But this is the crazy part. You know, it's like two things. You know what's crazy? It's like, imagine you just working with a person, and every time like they come out, it's like every single promo they're calling out your flaws. Number one, number two, bro. Israel, shout out to Israel. Israel says it all the time in spaces. Britt Baker literally just cuts promos to like appeal to the neckbeards on Twitter. That's all it is. To appeal to the guys who think they know everything about backstage and look for all the scoops and try to get all and look at all the. That's literally who she says all these things for. It's fucking annoying. Like,
No, I hear that definitely. Like I said,
she's not that good of a promo to have her entire personality based around being a promo wrestler.
I was just gonna say, you know what's funny? She literally gets to just do this because like the whole idea is like, well, Britt's like this, you know, tremendous personality and this great talker. And I mean, when this whole stuff began, you know, I could see that because you know she's just kind of being like basically like a sassy bitch to Tony Schiavone at the beginning, if you remember, and like that kind of was quirky and got over, and it was new and exciting.
Yeah, it was cool.
But at this point, it's like the thing that's supposed to be her bread and butter of the promos, like there's nothing interesting or new there at all. And so it's like the thing that she even is valued for, that skill is kind of overrated. I said this, Monty, I said this last week. She really needs to rethink her approach to just everything right now. I think everything about her approach is so stale. And it's an anchor, dude. Jamie Hayter, I like Jamie Hayter, but like I don't care about Jamie Hayter right now. And I would honestly blame just her association with this stable. You know, and because this whole tension has been held off, I don't care about that potential match. I don't really care about Britt in this form feuding with anybody, quite frankly. None of it does anything for me personally. And you know, and I know Monty, you said that you're not just trying to, you know, lead a pylon when it comes to Britt, but at the end of the day, at this point, most people would agree that she's not really positively contributing anything to the division that she's supposed to be leading, you know, and so that's kind of the bottom line there.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just like I say, it's not a pylon, and that's kind of where we got to like kind of be careful where it goes from like just fair criticism to like just going ham, like, you know what I mean?
You know what's fucking annoying?
And it's like, you know
what's fucking annoying? Jermaine Dupri was with the fucking baddies, and we just spent 15 minutes talking about Britt Baker because she's that fucking annoying.
I wish Dupree spoke. I feel like Dupree and Stokely could have given me memes for a year, and like he didn't really talk. It was just kind of like he's just there, and I was like, "What the? That's so random."
At least Stokely got his tweet. But a couple things before we get to the main event.
Yeah,
I did accidentally miss. I guess we spoke about it at the start. I don't know how I missed this on my notes, but the Swerve Lee title celebration.
Yeah,
which then of course led to Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling coming out, who then confronted Kevin Gates, who produced one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling television history. He shoot punched Tony Nese in the face.
Oh, God.
I repeat, he shoot punched Tony Nese in the face.
Yes.
It was
it was
Kevin Gates
all I gotta
shoot
say
punched Tony Nese in the face.
Monty, all I gotta say about this, and I've said this a year ago, like to me, I feel like modern wrestling fans operate in very specific binaries where they just want like completely perfect, completely classy, you know, pro wrestling. And I said that I remember I said a year ago, I said that I kind of miss like kind of bad stuff. And I kind of miss like wrestle crap a little bit. And part of why I loved it, TNA is because at some points TNA was like awesome and like time. And it would hit this perfect tone of like there'd be segments where like there's tons of people involved and it kind of rules, and it's also preposterous and it's so silly and like funny and like kind of bad but like not bad. And honestly this Swerve Keith Lee, Kevin Gates, you know, people against Laura Strickland thing, it was just so dumb and random, and Kevin Gates was smiling throughout the entire segment even though he punched him for real. And I think it hit the exact tone that I want out of my wrestling sometimes, which is that it was just kind of funny because of just so much irony like happening around the situation.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but
So,
it's just like, bro. You know what? It was. Wait, were you finishing that?
Sure.
No, you can finish if you were.
No, I ultimately just like the segment.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was like Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates just punched the guy in the face, and it was Corey Gates. Like, it was just like, all right, like, yeah, good.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I knew how big this was gonna get, but I didn't know how big it was gonna get. I'm scrolling down my timeline, I see, and the first thing I see is no jumper, and I'm scrolling down my timeline, I see screenshots from the shade room. I go on Snapchat and look around Snapchat and just go to the story section. I see it on the World Star story. This shit is it's everywhere, and this is kind of good for AEW.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's
yeah,
especially with now that they got I don't know how big of a, I guess you wouldn't call him a mainstream like superstar, but now they said today that Lil Scrappy tweeted he was going to be at Rampage. He was going to be on the Rampage show tomorrow. So yeah, man, it's just
I have no clue who Lil Scrappy is. I can't lie to you.
it just
too old, bro. Too old. We're too old. We're not down. We're not down.
It reminds me. Like, I have a brother who's 21, and like he'll just name rappers that I just have never.
Lil Scrappy was around when you were growing up. What are you talking about?
I'm making a general point. I was going to say like my brother's 21, and he'll just name guys, and I'm like, I think I'm plugged in. I think I know what's going on, and this is the kind of mainstream viral moments WWE makes millions for. Yeah, WWE literally chase like the ESPN headline and the TMZ headline, and stuff like that. And yeah, like that's not really AEW's thing, but they indulged in a lot of it this week. And at least with Swerve and Keith, I thought the segment was fun. So.
Yeah, it was a fun segment, and it's like I've seen a few people like clapping back at it, and it's just like they're never going to like this sort of segment. You know what I mean? Like, if you hated that, then you're never going to like that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I guess it is just what it is. So but yeah, just one last thing before the main event. This happened kind of in the middle of all the women's segments and matches and stuff. The Dax Harwood promo, which I thought was genuinely like incredible. Like it was just genuine. It was emotional. It was powerful. It was just wow. It was just brilliant. Like Dax is just the man. Possibly the best promo I've ever seen him cut, which is saying something because I love his promos because of just the, like I said, the authenticity and just the passion that he's able to just radiate through the screen in his promos. I love this, and I'm pretty confident in saying, Hollywood, that you probably love this as well, didn't you?
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
So, it's Sway in the Morning, right? I don't know who's familiar with Sway, but Sway in the Morning, longtime hip hop radio host. He does this thing where people will come on his show and do a freestyle, and usually when the freestyle is good, Sway will walk right up to the microphone, grab it, look right in the camera, and say, "You whack motherfuckers," because what you just saw on his show is the standard of excellence that should always be maintained and adhered to in the business. But there's a lot of whack motherfuckers. And you usually, damn right, another essay coming. 100%. 100%. But at the end of the day, there's a standard that needs to be adhered to. And you forget sometimes that a lot of the people you see are whack until you see someone that's not whack, right? And so for me, I felt like Sway. Because Monty, sometimes some guys just show you how it's done. Dax cut his promo, and the thing is, some people joke about how Dax only has one promo he cuts, which it's true. It's kind of my daughter and my wife and my two kids, and that's kind of the Dax promo.
Standard,
but it's a good promo. And again, the story you told yesterday about the girl at 5 years old struggling, fighting for her life, and she survived. She survived the hole in her heart that closed up, and she's 8, and that was my daughter. And I'm gonna fight like an 8-year-old girl, beautiful subversion of expectations. Awesome to just kind of take this thing that people usually say as a criticism of you. You fight like an 8-year-old girl. Well, damn it, fighting like an 8-year-old girl in the context of Dax's family means he's going to beat the shit out of you because this person persevered through a life-threatening a situation. Beautifully done, magical, inspiring, fiery. You whack niggas just need to get better at what you do. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm tired of the FTR slander. Dax Harwood is sensational. Is he a bit of a Bret Hart super fan? Sure, but damn it, I'd rather he be inspired by a great wrestler than a lame wrestler. Dax Harwood is better than a lot of your faves. The FTR are better than a lot of your favorite tag teams. I'm sorry. If you have a problem with that, cry. Get a napkin, walk to the corner, just wipe your tears and just accept the reality. FTR are the best tag team of the year. They've had the best year with the best matches. They're more over than your favorite tag team objectively. When they walk out, people love these guys. They love them right now. They're white hot. FTR literally had a segment hijacked in their favor. When Keith Lee and Swerve were having their segment with the Young Bucks a few weeks ago, it was FTR chants you heard, not anybody else. You know why? Because they're the hottest tag team in the world. They're the tag team of the year. Dax Harwood is sensational. He's a great talker. He's a great worker. And this Saturday, they're going to have another incredible match, Monty. And me and you are going to be right with our agenda. And people are going to cry. And Chris is going to cry. And Rob is going to cry. And AO is going to cry.
Who the fuck is going to cry? I like FTR.
Is going to cry. I'm going to cry. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a gigantic roll of napkins and tissues for all of you criers. And that's all I gotta say about it, man.
Yeah. First of all, just to give some context for people wondering what the fuck's going on, with the Wrestle Purist law, probably a bit of a lesson now. Most people don't. Everyone loves FTR for the most part, but within our little Wrestle Purist bubble, there is a bit of civil war going on with the whole FTR books conversation, and it's produced some pretty ugly agendas. I'd like to make a point of pointing out Chris, who's he's an established piece of shit. So So if you are wondering that most people don't hate on FTR, and you're wondering who Hollywood is actually directing his promo at, I just thought we needed to give a bit of context right there. But Rob, what did you think of the Dax promo?
Hold on, Rob. I'm sorry. One more thing. AO, if you're listening to this, Chris O'Brien, if you're listening to this, fuck you. Dax Harwood forever. Dax is better than Nick Jackson. He's gonna kill it again this Saturday. I had to reiterate it one more time, nigga. One more time. One more fucking time, nigga. Because I'm telling you, he's a better talker than your boy, and he's a better worker than your boy, and he's a better babyface than your boy. Crying, nigga. How does that feel? Go ahead, bro.
Hold on, I'm about to instigate in this group chat real quick. But as I was saying, I actually really enjoyed the promo. I wasn't really paying attention when the first time it happened, so I had to go back and see what he was actually talking about. And it was actually, bro, like, I don't care what anybody else says. Like, I know Chris says, like, oh, he's not, bro. I like Cash Wheeler too. I don't think Cash Wheeler is as good as Dax, but I like Cash Wheeler too. But Dax's fucking promo, dog. If Dax went on the singles run right now, I would not be mad at him, like, getting the TNT title or whatever. I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at it because Dax is just so good at.
He should have won the damn Owen, bro.
He's literally dead ass supposed to be Arn in this like whole tandem of FTR being the Brainbusters, and he is literally dead as just like Arn. In his cadence, the way that he speaks, the way that he gives off promos, he's so fucking good. So
yeah, he's the man. He's the fucking Dax the act. He's he's the fucking man. Anna, do you have any takes on this great Dax promo?
Yes.
Watching you.
Yes, I think that. Okay. Okay. I've been trapped. What the fuck? Yeah. Okay. I think it was a great promo. I think that Dax promos are always so real. They always feel so real. And that's the thing. I think the best promos out there are the promos when people talk about real stuff. When we see they talk about their real life. They talk about their feelings, things that they went through, and I really love promos like that. So it was really emotional. It was a really cute promo, and the whole fight like an 8-year-old girl. I think it was really nice. I really liked it. It was really cute. It's really cute. He's a great promo. He has that ability to make every single promo feels real and feel raw, and it sort of entices you. And I think it's really great. Yeah, but no, I'm joking. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
Hell no.
I will keep my opinions about the Bucks versus FTR discourse to myself. I will not speak of it. I don't want to be on either side. I'm good.
I was sitting here with a more than mild grin. I had hard eyes. I was like, man, this is beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I signed Anna. This is why I signed Anna. And then she swerves me. She swerves me.
Damn.
I'm not gonna say anything. They're both great, and that's it. That's it.
But
the promo was amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I think we've, unless I've missed anything else, because I don't know how I missed the Kevin Gage thing when I was looking through my notes, but I think we've got to the main event now, which was a barbed wire everywhere match between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston, with the Jericho Appreciation Society hung above the ring in a shark cage. This match has been very divisive online, especially the finish and the afters and stuff, and yeah, for me, it was kind of, when I was watching it live, I've rewatched it a couple of times now, but when I was watching it live, I enjoyed a lot of it, but there was definitely some parts in it, even when I was enjoying like the big chunk of the match, like 2/3, 74% of it, there were still some things that I definitely rolled my eyes at a lot. Then I think just the finish and the afters was like so poorly done. It was like, and you know, we obviously, because we're so online and stuff, especially myself, you know, we see a lot of the discourse, and there was a lot of excuse making for what I thought was like an objectively like bad couple of minutes of TV to end the show, and there was a lot of excuse making which felt very like, I don't want to say E-drone, because I just think the E-drone AEW sexual like labels are very childish, you know. But you know, like that, there's kind of like that you know, excuse making WWE fan that will just kind of like, you know, they'll gaslight you. They'll gaslight you for calling something bad. They'll say, "Oh, just enjoy the wrestling," what you got to do, and all that kind of stuff. And you got to see how it plays out, and this is going to happen next week, and blah blah blah. Like, bro, just sometimes it's just like,
it's not that good.
It's sometimes just accept that they fucked up, sort of thing. And like, I think it's fair to say in the last like 2-3 minutes of this TV episode, like the kind of they definitely did not stick the landing. If this was meant to be like a blow-off match, and you know, a lot of people are saying that it's not a blow-off match, but who knows? We don't actually know.
We don't know. We don't know.
Who knows?
Monty, I'll tell you this. You know, really, look, for me personally, and in my experience, you know, when I voice that I don't like something, I don't mind if you did enjoy something that I didn't. I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only here to just articulate why I feel the way I feel about things, right? The actual issue are the people that like just get so like worked up and defensive over you and your opinion, and like you said, it's borderline gaslighting, because you know what I notice is a common defense mechanism. Sometimes people will say, you know, like, you'll just be like, yeah, this was just not good for A, B, and C reasons, right? And they'll be like, oh, here come the people saying AEW's gonna die. Oh, I guess AEW's dying, guys, because one episode had a weird ending. AEW's dying. That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
I never said that. You were being hyperbolic to just make it seem like I'm being over the top and preposterous, when really I just voiced that this wasn't very good for these reasons.
Yeah,
you know, there's a medium, and if for you to just kind of make a caricature out of it and exaggerate and make it seem like I'm irrational, it's just a defense mechanism to kind of dismiss what I'm saying. With that said, I have really weird opinions on this main event, Monty. Like I didn't know what I thought of it. Like, it's weird. I'm watching it, right, and like what I can tell you is, you know, with Eddie Kingston matches, I'm almost pretty consistently like locked in, Like he does not miss. I can't think of a single singles match that Eddie has had where I just was just not that into it. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty engaged with all of them, and like I think most of them are pretty great, especially his pay-per-view matches. Like they're consistently fantastic, right?
Yeah,
Really
he's tremendous.
high
Like that
standard.
don't even need to be like prefaced.
Exactly.
He's so
The Miro match a year ago, the CM Punk match, the Jericho match, Anarchy in the Arena, Big Match Eddie's amazing, right? And what I can say about this main event is I noticed pretty early on that I just wasn't. It was almost hard to like get into it, to focus, to concentrate, to care strongly, and I couldn't put my finger on why, because I love this feud. I love the Eddie Kingston Jericho Appreciation Society feud, but I'm watching and I'm seeing this barbed wire thing, and I think early on I was like, this maybe wasn't like the best idea, I think, or maybe the best concept for a match, and I couldn't really get into it until like towards the end. But there was just like a lot happening, like Anna Jay is now a heel, sure, whatever, okay. They came out of the cage and people started interfering, okay, whatever, sure. and then Sammy Guevara's back from a near-death fall, sure, okay, whatever. Like it started to kind of turn into like a Looney Tunes cartoon. And like I was like, all I could think of was like, this is pretty wacky, I guess. And again, I want to enjoy this because I like this feud and I was looking forward to this match. But all I could even more beyond even just saying like this was bad about it, that was bad about it. What was striking to me was just how much I wasn't very connected to what was happening.
Yeah, it wasn't very like gripping in the way that Eddie Kingston matches usually are. And to be honest, I'll just quickly just like fly through the match. It's like like I said, I enjoyed a lot of like the first and even like kind of like the second act of the match, like about 75% of it, even though there was some certain things that did make me roll my eyes, which being like it almost became like plunder at one point. It was like as soon as we saw Ruby with the controls, it was like obvious that the Jericho Appreciation Society were eventually going to get that key and get out of there. With that being said, when Tay Conti came down and just kind of kicked the shit out of Ruby, it was just like Ruby getting the shit kicked out of her again, which seems to be like kind of a role that she's found herself in AEW these days, which is very frustrating for me as a fan of Ruby, because it's just like they know that people like her and they can get good heat on her, and it's got to the point now where it's just like that's just kind of feels like what they do with her.
It's kind of
exactly. So Tay comes down, attacks her. Anna comes down to seemingly make the save, and she turns, and it's just like, okay, probably should have been a standalone angle. Then that obviously leads to Ruby losing the keys and the controls to the cage, which then leads to the Jericho Appreciation Society coming out of the cage, which kind of made me roll my eyes the way that they just kind of done like angle. Like I said, it was just like plunder. They couldn't even get out the cage. They couldn't unlock the cage. Poor Take on she had a Paul Heyman moment. It just wasn't working for her. Then the Appreciation Society just kind of slipped out the cage through one of the gaps. Then this obviously led to them kicking the shit out of Kingston, which like the most obvious run-in of all time happened when the Blackpool Combat Club all came out and they all brawled, and it just kind of happened. It didn't really have amazing heat or anything. Then obviously it was just kind of, at that point I was just kind of waiting for like Sammy Guevara to just like come out and and just like just the finish, it just wasn't very well executed. The afters was terrible.
Can I say something again? Real quick. No, fuck you, Rob. Here's the thing. I'll do this.
You spoke for 10 minutes. What?
Go ahead, Rob.
Bro, but no. Ready to let you get your last point. It's not gonna be long. When I heard they were going to be in a shark cage, and then I was like, okay, cool. Now they get to do a one-on-one. I'm not the biggest deathmatch wrestling fan ever. I've said this on Twitter, but I'm more of a fan of a deathmatch with a story. This kind of had a story to it.
Yeah.
But then when I seen Sammy and Tay not in the cage, I was like, okay, some shit's going to happen. Obviously, it did. I enjoyed the spots that they used with the barbed wire. I hated with the whole run-in. I hated the key spot. I hated everything about it. And I was just like, this is literally just carny. At this point, it's just carny WWE shit to me. That's what it was at that point.
It was not to cut you after, but just to quickly finish off my whole take on the thing. To be honest, overall, I thought it was actually like not a bad match at all. I think a lot of people have kind of like over exaggerated, although I've just listed like 10 criticisms about it. Like I said, I did enjoy a lot of it, and I think overall it was probably a good match. It was just I feel like it did kind of encapsulate the violence, and our friend, to reference him again, Joe called it grotesque, and like kind of the violence and the wackiness of what the stipulation was supposed to be, and they kind of did achieve that. But like I said, it was just kind of a bit. I've seen a lot of people call it overbooked. There was a lot of plunder. There was a lot of eye rolling and things like that. But I think overall, as an overall package, I don't think it would be fair to call it bad. It was just there is a lot of criticisms and a lot of eye rolling that went into it. So
before we get to Anna, I
what's
want to say I've come to realize something as you're talking about all this, because like as you're recapping it really hits you how chaotic all this was. Like when you hear it in rapid succession, like Anna attacks Ruby. I mean, not Anna. I'm sorry. Ty attacks Ruby. Anna comes out. Anna's gonna seemingly save Ruby. She turns heel. She tries to break these people out of the cage. They come out of the cage after they get the remote, and then Sammy comes in, and then Sammy helps them, and then the Blackpool Combat Club come out. Like it sounds crazy, right? Here's what I'll say. You know what I realized, Monty? I think for overbooking and chaos like that to work, when there's so many moving parts and moving elements, for it to work, two things have to happen. The timing of everything has to like be good, of like when each like set incident happens. But secondly, it's hard for it to not just feel shitty afterwards and sloppy if the babyface loses. Like I noticed, like when a lot of these chaotic things are happening, and this person runs out to save this guy, and this thing happens, and that thing happens, and all these plot twists and turns. If at the end of it, coming out of all this kind of chaos and mess, the good guy overcame all that bullshit and boom wins, it's almost like a feel good, like like they triumphed over all that crazy shit. It's why Mick Foley winning the title in '99 is like a cool moment, because like there's a lot of chaotic just craziness happening, and before that moment, DX is fighting with where the fuck they were even fighting with. I think it was the corporation and shit like that. Stone Cold comes out, he's hitting people, and then Mick wins. Like those moments like are good moments. Just because the good guy won, you know what I mean?
Timing's a big thing, like you said as well.
Yeah,
AEW just needs a bit of polishing in terms of like that sort of stuff.
And so all this disorienting kind of chaos and run-ins happening, and ultimately you got a deflating result with the good guy losing. Then it just kind of feels like, wow, that was just like a lot of just chaos, and then that finish, like, damn, okay. I don't know if this is the end. I would certainly hope not, because I think the storyline has been generally pretty strong. So hopefully we do something else to follow it up. But Anna, what did you think of this match and everything that happened?
Yeah,
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah,
because Ty Conte, she's the one Brazilian representation we have. She's the only one.
Oh boy!
Oh my god! I can't defend her anymore.
Oh my god!
I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's like me turning on Regal.
Grown ass women can't use a key.
She had one job. She had a key and a lock. How that doesn't work? How
do you not practice that before the show? Like, how do you not practice that?
Can't you open a lock? I had no idea what was going on. But after that spot in Blood and Guts, when she tried to feed the bottle through the crack of the door instead of the holes in the cage, I couldn't defend her anymore after that. That was the moment that I said, okay, that's it. No. I'm gonna leave. That's a hate crime. That's a hate crime. That's
crazy.
No. That is the worst.
Yeah. I think it's so bad. It's
the worst. It honestly feels like a hate crime, and it's so bad. And Ty, I'm so disappointed, because there was a time that we felt like she was going somewhere, that she felt like she was getting better, and then she started dating Sammy.
Oh my god! Everything that nigga touches, everything that nigga
It's
touches,
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Just went right off the window.
Yeah, it's like, is she even a wrestler anymore? Like,
she was
no,
trying.
she's a valet.
She was literally trying to be the female Shibata, bro. She was trying to be the female Shibata.
She wants to wrestle Julia, and she can't open a lock. I mean,
that is crazy.
Julia wants to wrestle her. So that's crazy.
How are you going to escape a figure 4 leg lock when you can't open a key lock? Like it's just insane.
No.
Continue, Anna.
Oh my god, the whole thing. No, it was just so weird because the moment that the Jericho Appreciation Society walks in and we see that Ty and Sammy aren't with them, I just knew. I just knew some bullshit was coming. And that's why I couldn't get into the match because I was just expecting the bullshit to happen.
Yeah.
In a second. And then Ruby was sitting there with the buttons and I just said, okay, that's
oh my god. Anna, here's a good example. So, a lot of people and like Dave Meltzer, for example, will argue that WWE has killed stipulations because like you as a viewer, you're trained to believe that none of them really mean anything and that like in a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell match, the door's gonna open. They're gonna get out the cage. They're gonna go to the roof. Someone's gonna come in. So like the idea of like this cage is to hold them in and no one can get in. That's bullshit, right? You know matches like loser leaves town or loser has to quit. That's bullshit too. Like whoever loses is gonna be back eventually, right? And so AEW for a long time they were good at protecting their stipulations and their rules. But it was hard. I agree with you. Like as I'm watching, like you somehow, some way. You knew they were going to get out the shark cage. You know what I mean? Like, so you're just watching it like, all right, when are they going to get out the shark cage? When are we going to get that part out of the match?
It was so funny because when Ty was unable to open the lock, Daniel Garcia and Angelo Parker just went through the bars. And there's this moment where they show Matt Menard's face and he just realizes that he doesn't fit through the bars. And you can see like the desperation on his face that he realizes he has to get out, but he doesn't fit.
Yeah, because it's live TV.
It's so bad.
It's funny.
It's live TV, and it's like, oh my god, how do I get out and do this angle? I'm gonna fuck this whole thing up.
I knew, bro. As soon as she got that key, I was like, there was a sliver of hope. Like, please don't fuck up this key. One of the biggest shows.
I just knew it. The moment she got the key, I was watching on Discord with my friends as well, and I just told them she's not gonna be able to open it. She's not gonna open it. I just know it. I just know it. And the whole NJ thing, I felt like it didn't fit in that spot in the match. Like why? Someone
get rid of him.
Nah, bro. That's funny.
And now what's gonna happen with Dark Order because they like last week or a couple weeks back they were in the ring doing a promo about we're not going anywhere. Yeah, and now the entirety of our Dark Order are 4 wrestlers and 1 part-timer child. Like I don't know what's going on.
The Dark Order right now
is crazy.
Think about this. So Brody is no longer with us. We don't have what's my man's name? Stu Grayson's gone. Alan Angels is gone.
Alan Angels taking over Impact.
Sure. What's it called? Anna Jay's gone. What do we really have? We have Johnny Hungy, we have Alex Reynolds, we have 10, and we have a child and Evil Uno. That's not much of a group or a stable, and that's why my view is even more reinforced that I thought that in Brody's hometown they should have just respectfully put the stable to rest. I think because in my opinion they've been spinning their wheels, kind of really not contributing much of anything for the whole year, right? And so like I think to me it was like okay. Let's respectfully just kind of put the mask, leave the mask in the ring, let it just be a memory in a respectful and classy way, and then you kind of part ways and do whatever you're going to do with your career. But they're like, we're going to stay together. It's like to do what? Literally to do what?
Yeah, to be honest,
and now Aaron's gone.
No, to be honest, bro, they should have did that way back at the first Rochester episode, dog. Like,
to me, bro, once Hangman after. Hangman, like he kind of kept them relevant for like an additional year, but at this point, it's like I don't even know what you do with them. It's why like when they booked like Hangman and Silver versus like Butcher and Blade, like I literally was just like, because like
have them split off from Dark Order and start something new with Hangman or start something new with someone.
I want to shout out my enemy Daniel Garcia real quick. So Yeah, so what I'll give him credit for is he doesn't like looking stupid, and he doesn't like looking stupid on TV, which is why when they were struggling to open that shit, he was like, "Bro, I'm getting out. Like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna be in a gift.
Yeah, he won't ramping, bro.
He's not. He's like, bro, I'm not gonna be in a GIF. I'm not gonna be in a meme. I'm not gonna get like roasted. If y'all want to stay in this cage, go ahead. I'm out. Like, and so he got out the cage. So yeah, props to him.
You know what's funny, bro? This is probably the episode of Dynamite with the most bad shit that me and Hangman have ever agreed on that was bad. Like damn, dog. But it was not like it was a bad episode at all.
Jamie Ross, I hope you burn. He said Dark Order now has 5 members. Room for a Wyndham 6.
Oh my god! Please no! Stop! Delete that.
We don't need it.
Bro, did you see? I know you guys seen it. The absolute art in the law that fucking Bray Wyatt has been doing on Twitter today.
I'm afraid. Keep
that Bray Wyatt bio with the Vince McMahon quote is fucking brilliant.
I don't understand what he's doing. Like, he's just
neither do I don't
he's
care.
Just been lore tweeting for a year. Like, it's like, are you going to wrestle or you're in front of like a laptop just tweeting vague things like every 3 weeks. Like, but what I will, guys, so you know, as you guys know, I am a semi-insider, right? I have some sources. I have some info.
He said that twice on this podcast, by the way.
I gotta let niggas know. Here's what I will tell you. I have been sent a leak of Bray Wyatt's playing the theme song. I sent it a while ago, and I'm gonna pull up the file. I don't know where he's gonna wrestle. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I'll give you guys a sample of the theme that he's planning to use when he comes back.
No. I'm never coming back.
No way.
Stop it.
No.
And to end the podcast, you should just dance to that theme song as we're going off the air.
No, I'll never.
What are we doing?
I'm gonna kill myself.
And
right
Monty too. You got to be doing a shoulder shimmy. Like,
I just gotta say, coming back to like Sammy and Tyson, when Sammy showed up, he was wearing a vest that had the Brazilian flag in the back part, and I felt so attacked. I felt so personally victimized. Haven't we gone through enough? Yeah, I hate crime, of course. Yeah, haven't we gone through enough? Like, using Sammy Guevara, using our flag, it was the worst thing ever. I felt so bad. I never want to see that flag again. I'm done. I'm just having the Brazilian people gone through enough. You know, the pandemic almost wipe us out. I mean, we don't need it.
Oh my god,
we don't need it.
And I watched Ty Conti and said, no more. I hate Brazil.
Handed in a passport and everything.
Literally,
I can't help her. I can't help her.
I wanted
She's
to.
not Brazilian anymore. The moment she started dating Sammy, she turned her back on her nation.
Oh God!
She's a traitor.
She's a traitor.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I did want to kind of have this conversation about the afters and kind of like the decision of Eddie Kingston losing. And your thoughts if this isn't it, if this is it, and if this isn't it, where do you think they're going with it? Because it was just weird, man. Like, of course, the execution of the actual what happened in the afters, like the reverse of the Judas effect, looked terrible. The spinning back fist looked terrible. There was a point where Jericho and Sammy Guevara were locked up for some random reason.
Dog, did you see that?
That's why Eddie missed the spinning back fist, because he had him lined up. Then Jericho and Sammy just randomly locked up with each other. It was so badly executed. Then if you're gonna end the show with the babyface on top, just have him win. And if this is, and the commentator said as the show was closing, Eddie didn't win, but. And it's like, that's the sort of shit what you say, like when you're blowing off the feud, you know what I mean? And it's just like, that's why that is part of the reason why I'm kind of like worried that it might actually be it. And I know, you know, it would be. I think it's fair on both sides. I think it's fair to like kind of be worried that it might be it, and I think it's also fair to be on the side of the fence where you think, of course, it's not it. You know. So, you know, there's a lot of discourse about the decision on who won, especially like whether it's the blow off or not is obviously a big part of the conversation, a huge factor of it, and we don't know that yet. But yeah, man, it was just like I said, the actual angle itself was poorly executed, and like just kind of the angle in principle of just kind of finishing the show with the person who just lost on top in that manner happening so quickly. It was just kind of well, you know, I'll say it was ridiculous, to be honest. And if that is the end of the feud, that is absolutely brutal, bro. Brutal.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I've said the same thing. I get the ending was supposed to be like, oh, he threw him in the barbed wire. You could have done the exact same ending of the show with him winning. You could have done the exact same ending. You could have had him win. You could have had them try to be some sort of afterbirth, and you could have had them try to do some sort of fucking thing, and then he reverses whatever Jericho's trying to go for, and he throws him in the barbed wire, send the crowd home happy, the show's over. I'm not one of those people on Twitter last night that were acting like I was a day one IWA Mid-South Eddie Kingston fucking diehard day one fan. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like I was quiet about it because I was just like, he could have won and still threw him in the barbed wire, you know?
Monty, the babyface losing and then like knocking the heel out of the ring, meaning that so he really technically won in spirit. That's very like, it's very 80s bullshit when like you just want to have the babyface to save their heat, and it's like we don't buy that anymore. You know what I mean? Like because know if you watch wrestling from 30 years ago, 35, 40 years ago, like they'll buy that. They'll the face will get cheated, right? You know, in a bullshit finish. But then they'll after the bell they'll like do their move on the guy, and it's like, all right, cool, at least he got him, right? But you know why that's less that's like less well received now? It's because we know that wrestling is a work, and all we can think of is like that was just a poorly booked finish. We're not mad at the heel for cheating. We're mad at the booker for booking a stupid finish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not mad at anyone involved. Like that's
what I'm saying. Is like the point of interferences are supposed to be so you're like, oh man, those heels they cheated my guy. Like hopefully he gets them. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking that here. I'm just like, wow, they really did that to Eddie. That's crazy. So that's why like him getting that back on Jericho afterwards, like it wasn't that satisfying. It just felt kind of like a bit of a cop out. Which again, I'll bury it further if this is the complete end of the story. But if it's not, then it's just a chapter that I happen to not like as much in an overall good book, if that makes any sense. You know, this storyline is a very good book, and we just stumbled on a weird chapter that had a weird plot twist, and it's like, okay. But that doesn't mean it's unsalvageable. So you know, really, again, I'm kind of a wait and see. We'll see how this happens. What I will say is this. Meltzer speculated that maybe this is the end of the story and it's going to segue into Danielson and Jericho. And what I will say is this, you know, even if Eddie did get kind of fucked over here, this leads to an interesting story beat where Danielson's able to kind of save the day for Eddie, and Eddie's resentful that the guy that he doesn't like saved his ass, basically. And even more interesting, Eddie Kingston on the mic said that him and Claudio are cool now, that they've kind of gone over it, right? They gotten over it. But we'll know for sure if Eddie's over it if, let's just say hypothetically, Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli, his two real enemies deep down inside, beat the fuck out of Chris Jericho and Sammy, and they play savior to Eddie Kingston. Do you think Eddie Kingston's gonna like that, the character? Do you think he's gonna like it if these two guys basically, you know, save his ass, even though he's a very prideful guy and he has a problem with it? And he can't really explain why he has a problem with it, but because it's just an internal thing with him, and it splits off into a Danielson Eddie thing, and then ultimately Claudio Eddie. I think that's interesting, which is why, again, I think that this is not unsalvageable. And you know, not to be the AEW shill, because you know, obviously I'm not the AEW shill of WrestlePeers. That's Chris and Murph. I do think that because Eddie's just such a broad and interesting character with so many just rooted motivations and stories here and there that could branch off, I do think that this really has a lot of potential to be an interesting, retroactively be an interesting decision. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting to see how Danielson plays into this.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see how Claudio plays into this, and how that affects Eddie. So that's what I have to say about that.
Anna, you got any thoughts on the aftermath of the main event last night?
Tony Khan, that'll be $400. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just really poorly done. This match has been going on since like December last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. And there's been so many instances in this feud, this long ass feud, that it felt like it was gonna end, and then it didn't end. You know, so I have no idea if this was the end, but if it was a really shitty end. I didn't like it. I know there's a whole thing like, oh, not every babyface needs to win their feuds. Babyfaces can lose, but I didn't want Eddie to lose. And what about it? You know,
this isn't a feud for that take. You know,
exactly.
Yes, he should have won, and that's it. That's final. If that leads to I hope to God a real last match at All Out with Eddie winning, then okay, I'm fine. But if this was the last match, I just think it was really bad. After this, a feud that was planned for so long, that was done for so long, almost an entire year, ending it like that is just really not it.
Ending in plunder.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rob, you got anything to add to the I don't even know what we can call it at this point.
About the afterbirth? Shit. I don't hate the story because, like Hangman said, the story's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great.
It could end soon, so when we get to Grand Slam, Eddie can win that title. Thank you.
Oh, God bless. That's what we're praying on. I worry that we might not get it, but that's what we're praying on over here. But
I think if we all sing Cult of Personality, it'll summon CM Punk for All Out. I think that's what we should do.
But they need him, man. Like, there's a lot of talk of Jericho versus Moxley, which I guess in storyline it wouldn't be that offensive. But it's just you want to really made me feel like they need CM Punk. It's like how quickly those All Out tickets sold. It's just like the first thing I saw when I saw how quickly they sold, and I saw all the discourse about people talking about AEW is still moving tickets in Chicago, blah blah blah. It's like a lot of those people definitely think Punk's coming back. Like, do you know what I mean? And if he doesn't, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see It'll be interesting to see how the resale value drops if Punk gets announced not on the card.
Really quick, I did want to bring this up. So somebody pointed out this to me last night. I still didn't care because I still kind of wanted Eddie to win. But basically, Eddie was sort of kind of in the top 5. Mox is the champion right now. Jericho beating him knocks Eddie out of the top 5, so he doesn't have to face his best friend Moxley. Yada, yada, yada. That I guess that's the case.
Yeah, well, the thing with Eddie, he wasn't in the rankings last week. He didn't Yeah, it was weird. They didn't put him in the rankings after I believe it was a Takeshita match. Then he randomly shown up in number 4 after not winning anything since the last one. Then obviously Chris Jericho has just won him. So, like Rob said, it's probably just a way of getting Chris Jericho kind of like into the rankings. You know, the AEW rankings are just weird, man. Like I could go on probably not even a very long rant about them. I just think they're bad. I legitimately popped when I saw Tony Khan saying in the media call earlier that they're not going to do them at Ring of Honor.
Thank God.
Yeah, man. That's what I mean. There is a way to do wrestling rankings that can make like the storylines and stuff more interesting, but like they feel so much like an afterthought in AEW. And like I said, like the Eddie Kingston example I just gave, like they don't really make any sense. There's nothing to really follow. Like, you know if someone keeps. Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
I don't even think about the rankings because I'm gonna say this right now. I haven't looked at them in like over a year. And not only am I not looking, bro, people they'll get posted on Twitter, and I just scroll past it, and I don't even bother like clicking the picture. I don't read it. I don't care. It literally doesn't affect anything about the show at all. They don't have sometimes there's not much of a like internal logic because at the end of the day, it's like Tony's gonna want to save certain matches until certain shows, and other times he's just padding to get to a match, so he's gonna give you a bunch of wins like on Dark or whatever. I just, to me, it's like a means to an end that sometimes adhered to, sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's very arbitrary. So like I just like I don't pay attention. I literally, I swear to God, I act like they don't exist, and to me, the fact that I do that and it doesn't affect the show in any way means that they don't matter. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much exactly. Like it's just they're so whatever.
The rankings just I think they just sort of gave up on the rankings, but they still have an obligation to do it.
Yeah.
And I will never forget when Moxley got the match for the interim title, when they put him in the main event against the Kyle O'Reilly and whatever, that Tony Khan said that Mox wasn't even in the top 5. And then Tony Khan said that he was getting the opportunity because of the quality of his opponents, something like that. It just didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. Like he wasn't even in the top 5. And then suddenly he was number 1 because of the quality of his opponents. Like, what does that mean? He's basically calling half his roster like jobbers. Like,
yes,
half his roster stinks. Just how can you say that?
No, if I was a wrestler and like this was real, and I saw certain guys getting a title shot because they literally just kept fighting bums on Dark, and I'm like, and I like, let's say like my record was like 15-6, right? But I'm fighting like all like upper level guys, and someone else is like 16-0, but all they fought are guys you've never heard of on Dark. I'd be like, how does that make any sense, Mr. Khan? Like, that's not fair. So yeah.
They fucking faced Fuego 30 times in a row every
Remember the rankings, like the territory era, and you'd get like all the rankings in the magazines and shit.
Yeah,
and it's just like there's definitely a way that you can make the rankings like you can really give a sports feel, But yeah, like Anna said, like at the start, it feels like they cared about them a lot more than they do now, and now it just kind of feels like an obligation because they've kind of dug the heels in and don't want to just kind of give them up. Even though it's probably the thing to do, because like Hollywood said, it's like you can literally get through the show, not pay any attention to them, and it just feels like sometimes when they just want to randomly give a title shot to someone, they'll put the person that they're about to beat in the rankings and then have them beat them, and it's just like it's just kind of like this. It's just Tony Khan kind of just now it feels like it's just an obstacle to him to book around, and it's just kind of like I said, it's not giving the feeling of sports like feel rankings that I'm sure he was hoping for when he decided to do this thing in the start. So
hey,
but yeah,
I want to have some breaking news real quick. So
you got breaking news. Huh?
Yeah. At the upcoming Impact Emergence match, at the upcoming Impact Emergence show, Ray Horace and Bandito will have a singles match.
Fuck.
Not Bandito. No.
Impact, baby.
No.
Impact.
No.
Impact.
Listen. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm with Hollywood in terms of like singing and dancing and coming up with Impact jingles. But I don't. It's kind of funny for me to say that I like Impact when we've just gone head to head with them. We've just actively killed their demo because we've had about 50, 60, 70 people in here live, which is probably like half of their audience.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Y'all heard Hangman tap dancing with Scott D'Amore just now? I heard Hangman tap dancing with Scott D'Amore. That was nasty. This is nasty.
Listen, man. Hey, listen, and also, you know what happened today? Also, Monty on Impact. Kushida teamed up with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
No,
so we are looking at a show that has Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Kushida, Bandito. But keep talking about Impact being. Hey, listen.
Who did what was the 6-man tag?
I'm legally not allowed to praise Impact right now. I'm on house arrest.
You just made up a jingle about them.
Hey, that's not praise. It's just music.
It's something.
But what I will do is, guys, look, man. All I'm gonna do is present you the information, and y'all decide what you want to do with this information. Kushida was on this week's show. Bandito's coming on soon.
Oh man. Anyway, Anyway,
That's
AEW,
heartbreaking.
AEW Dynamite. Can we get like some overall thoughts on the show? I'll start because my show, I guess. Yeah. I thought it was a weird show. I don't think I could say confidently that I thought it was bad. Definitely not. But I don't think, on the other hand, I could say confidently it was one of the better Dynamites that I've saw. There was a few things in it that we've obviously just gone through in the review of it all. That I rolled my eyes quite a lot of times last night. But there was some really good stuff in there. The opener standing out to me, as well as the Dax promo. I'm not sure if I could pick between the two what was more personal highlight of the show. Then when you throw in stuff like Kevin Gates punching Tony Nese in the face, it was there was a lot of parts. But like I said, between like the Luchasaurus stuff, Britt Baker being Britt Baker, Ruby Rose getting bitched, the afters to the match. There's a few things that I think can be fairly criticised, but like I said, there was a lot of good stuff as well. It was pretty much a mixed bag. Yeah, I'd say that's where I was at. It's a weird show, a bit of a mixed bag. Anna, where was you? How was you feeling after last night's Dynamite?
It was definitely a Dynamite. It happened. It was there. It wasn't the best. Was it the worst?
Let's have Ruby Rose.
Yeah, you said Ruby Rose. Sounds
Ruby
like
Soho.
No, it's just
wait, who said Ruby Rose? Was it Monty?
Yeah.
Get off IG, nigga. Go ahead.
Get off.
Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. I like the couple first matches, the tag match with the best friends, Brody's match. The Dex promo was great, and the whole main event was just a mess. Britt and Thunderstorm. I don't have much to say about it. It happened.
Yeah.
It was a Dynamite. Let's move on.
Yeah.
We don't need to harp on it yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was Dynamite. I can't say too much. Hey, highlight of the show being Kevin Gates, another win for Louisiana. So I'm not tripping.
Dynamite was, it was a show that I thought was, like I said, sports entertainment heavy, and that breeded mixed results depending on who was involved in the stuff, and a bit of an uneven and up and down experience. I didn't think it was like overtly horrible, like Anna said, but I didn't particularly love anything outside of the Dax promo and the Darby match. But because the Darby match was so strong, in my opinion, I can't call this a bad show. Like I'm telling you, I really love Brody King and Darby's match. I thought it was sensational. I'm probably gonna rewatch it. Everything else, hit or miss, like I said. Yeah, it was a fun episode, for Shark Week. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was there's stuff to like, there's stuff definitely not to like as well, and we go again tomorrow with AEW Rampage.
Absolutely.
We'll be back on this channel some point over the weekend, I'm sure. Before we get out of here, do you guys have anything you want to plug? I'll go around. I'll start with you, Hollywood, since you're next to me on the screen. You got anything to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to thank all the listeners. I thought this was the best podcast we've done in a bit, to be honest with you. Anna was great tonight, and I'm really happy that she joined us and she appeared. This was awesome. Looking forward to future podcasts. Rob was okay. Monty, great job as always. Man, look, only thing I got to plug really, just follow me at Backup Hangman on Twitter. You know where to find me. Don't find me if you're just here to quote tweet me and bother me. That aside, I'm probably doing a Twitter space tonight in some form, probably. I'm going to eat first because I'm really hungry. But yeah, I'm probably doing a space tonight. I'm allegedly still doing a WrestleMania review series. I haven't done one in a month. I'm going to try to. Bro, that early 2010s period is just rough. But yeah, I'm gonna get through Mania 27, give my thoughts on that, review it, and all that shit. Monty, I didn't even tell you this, so I'll just reveal it on the air. When I'm done with this whole thing, expect an article of some kind on the site, or maybe a pod. We'll see how we do it. It could be a special episode. But yeah, man, thank you for having me, Monty. I appreciate everybody who continues to deal with my bullshit. And yeah, man, follow me.
Rob, you got anything to plug or promote?
Still doing the pandemic era review. I
No, you're
watched. I am. I have like a dozen posts on it. I had just watched the what is it called, the Boneyard match. And I meant to do an essay on it. Still planning on doing an essay. Haven't at the time. I'm just lazy. But also, this is not a plug for myself. Actually, this is a plug for shout out Robert Martyr, friend of the podcast. Robert Martyr will be at Garden State Pro, the Welcome to Eden show. It is a Garden State open weight for championship tournament first round match, taking place this Saturday at the Hart Ballroom in Newark, New Jersey. Doors open 6 p.m. Bell time 7 p.m. It will be Davey Richards versus Robert Martyr. So
there you go. Shout out to Robert Martyr. If you're not familiar with Rob, he's a very solid indie wrestler, man. He's a very nice guy.
Very good.
He's very accessible. He's a good guy. He's a good wrestler. This is a good opportunity for him against a good wrestler. So, listen, man, all the best to Robert Martyr, man. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being someone who supports everything we do. And best of luck, Rob. Hopefully this leads to more bookings for you and more opportunities. So, certainly, it's a match I'm certainly going to be watching when I get a chance, and I'll probably give my thoughts about it on the timeline.
Yeah, man, all good. And Anna, finally, our great special guest on the show. It was a great debut for myself. Have you got anything to plug or promote?
Round of applause for Anna, man. Round of applause for Anna. There we go.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you guys so much. This is really fun. This is really great. Besides him playing Thai's music for me, everything else was really fun. And don't you even dare. Never again. I have some stuff to plug. I'm gonna plug some of my friends' things because here in Brazil we have such a small content creator community for wrestling because the wrestling fan is so small.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna plug WrestleBR. They were in the chat. I'm gonna say all the names sort of in English so that people can understand. WrestleBR, Central WWE on YouTube. They're gonna start doing videos in English. There's Pipe Bombcast. They do some streams on Twitch, and Elas que Lutem, my podcast. Even if you don't understand Portuguese, just follow us. Try to give it a listen. Try to learn it.
Just learn language.
The podcast, and I don't know. Follow me. I'll try to do more stuff in English. So just follow me.
Yeah, man. It was great. It was great having you on the pod, and I'm sure we'll have you back. And if everyone can make sure they go and follow and subscribe, all the things that we've just shouted out. And if you can give us a follow and a like and a subscribe to everything that we do at WrestlePurist on Twitter. WrestlePurist.com is our website. Go check out a feature or a news story if you're bored. And again, please give us a like and subscribe to this video. And we will catch you next time. Like I said, I think we'll be back over the weekend. So, everyone have a good night. All right? Bless.